Hello, guys. How are you? Jerry, good to see you. I hope Dad's doing okay. Are we all good? Hello, Kimmy. Top hats. Good evening, everyone. I won't be on long. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Top hats. I'm sorry. Very sorry to hear that. Yeah, get better. Hello, Mama's the boss. How are you? I think I saw you last night. That was so funny. Were you in that chat last night? Oh my god, I was peeing my pants. Holy crap. Hey Kathy, how doing? Frazzled. No, the hairdo is called I didn't do my hair. Yeah, it's naturally curly, and I hate it like this, but you know, sometimes. Actually, Mr. Snotty really likes it like this. He asked me to do this sometimes, and I don't like it. It gives me a headache, actually. Uh, Oh, well, thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, I know. I know. That's what I hear all the time. I know. You can't believe that. When the first time I had my hair curly and Mr. Snotty saw it, I told him it gives me a headache. And he goes, "That's what my daughter said. I don't understand that." I said, "It does, though, because you have to have like products in it that to make it not be just a funky thing. I don't, it gives me a headache. It just does." I know. The real stupid thing is I used to get perms too. Like, really? When I have curly hair. Stupid. Totally, totally stupid. Yeah, definitely. You should, Top Hats. You probably need some antibiotics. Oh, wow. Huh. Maybe that would make a difference. It will just dry like this, but if I want to try to maneuver it at all, I got to put too much shit in it. Yeah, I do know what you mean. I do. I have one of those. Hey, legs. So you put that over it, and I have one of those things that you hook onto your blow dryer. Is that the same or no? Oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, okay. It's a 10 spray. Okay. I never heard of that. Oh, wow. Okay. I see. I get it. Oh, don't even worry about that. It's a dark. Oh, I got to check that out. It's a 10. Okay, I gotta. Awesome. I will do that, Jerry. Thanks. I never had any idea. Right? Right, Kathy. And this is what I used to get a perm. Like it doesn't do it on its own. Right. That's awesome. Isn't that funny? Yeah, too bad I don't look like I did in high school, Kathy. Getting old. Getting old. Definitely don't feel like I did in high school. That's for damn sure. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. That's a good idea. I never heard of it. Fig's the same way. Exactly. Her hair is exactly like mine. So she wears hers curly probably more than I do, but so I hope everybody had a happy Easter. We had a great time. We got over to the park to have Jack hunt eggs, which he really didn't care much about. And Mr. Snotty and two of our grandsons, um, some people left eggs there, I guess, at the park. I don't know. They ended up finding like, I think, $6 in eggs. Like, oh my God. But anyway, it was fun. We had brunch with the kids. It was very nice. You've already made your dad mad. For what reason? Not really, really mad. Not actually mad, I'm sure. Yeah, I got all the girls at Easter Lily and all the guys an outfit, a couple outfits, whatever. And Jack and my baby girl, a little bit more. He can't do something and I make him do it anyway. Yeah, I know. That's a tough one though, right? Right. Yeah, that's a tough one because yeah, when you have to actually do that because, he tells you what to do, not the other way around, right? It doesn't work that way. Yeah, that's too bad. Oh, yeah, it's a tough one, Jerry. You kind of got to though. Yep, Kimmy's right. Yeah, right. Well, of course, we all would. I mean, this is what I was telling you recently. We already feel this. You know, when I turned 40, I was like, I feel like I'm 18 still. What the hell? And then very quickly, I did not at all. And we all wish, like I said, I could sleep on a floor, I could sleep on a rock. Now it is a very different story. Oh, well, that's very good. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're going to be on top of it. Huh? You're going to. Did you find that belt that we talked about last week? that Kimmy told you about? Right, right, right. Legs. That's exactly right. I remember saying that about my mother-in-law at times. I was like, okay, well, you're acting like a child, and I really can't treat you like one. But shit balls. Oh, good. Right. Yeah, that's what Kimmy said. You can get a prescription for it. Hello, frazzled. Oh, well, I thought you said if they got a prescription for it, then like insurance would pay for it or whatever. Sorry, I misunderstood that. Like as in if it's an order from the doctor, something like that. Oh, there you go. Wow, thanks, frazzled. I don't like it. This is called lazy hair. Thank you. So I will tell you, okay, so one thing we learned today is something we have had not known prior to today. Um, okay, yeah. Um, Jerry was just telling me about something like that. Yeah. Seriously, it's called Dick Medical Supply. They couldn't call it Richard, really? Go figure. So no, all along, we knew that they had exhumed Tammy Daybell's body, and we knew that they had charged them both, Tammy and Chad, with her murder. But we had never heard what the results of the autopsy were once they had exhumed the body. Today we found that out. Um, it was um, as asphyxiation. I can't say it right. I can't. Asphyxiation, right? So that's really like, oh God, you knew it anyway, but God, this really sucks. Sorry, I was listening but checking out at Walmart. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought I saw you in that chat last night. I swear I was peeing my damn pants. I could not. When it came out that it was a hookup, I was like, oh, I did not even, I didn't even know. I had no idea. That was some wild stuff. I was laughing damn hard. I grabbed the first ice. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Kimmy. I'm kidding. I don't give a shit what it's called. I don't care. Just playing with you, Peter. It's okay. Oh my God, I was listening to a bomb last night. Oh my God, it was the funniest shit. Hey DC. Oh Lord. I didn't even know all the people involved, but it was funny as crap. She was playing Skidmark, and apparently he was hooking up with somebody in there, and I didn't understand that. I don't think anybody did. All of a sudden the girl was started saying stuff, and I was like, what the hell is going on right now? And then she said, I love you, and he said he loved her too. I don't know. It was crazy. It was the craziest shit. Oh my God, I was laughing so hard. Wasn't that, were you there, Legs? Oh my God, I was mopping and shit. I was doing housework, but I was laughing so damn hard I couldn't even stand it. Yeah. Oh, thanks, DC. It's the lazy look. Yes, wasn't that the funniest shit? Out of nowhere, I was like, wait, I didn't know that's what was getting ready to happen. Oh shit, was that funny or what? Oh my God, I was laughing so hard. That was awesome. I love that kind of laugh. I love you too. I was like, what? I think some of his people were getting mad at him even. Like, what the hell did you just do? They were just talking, but he did that girl got Michelle kicked off and shit, which normally he doesn't do that. Even though they're fighting, who the hell knows? It's all utter nonsense going on over there. Oh boy, that was fun. I was glad I was there for it. I didn't know any of the people involved in it, but it's, right, it's total insanity. You could not even make this shit up. It is wow. Unbelievable. Oh Lord. Oh, see, I don't know her at all. Oh my God, she was laughing so hard too. That's just it. Like gut laughs. I'm not kidding. Well, because it just kind of came out of no. Well, I don't know. She was up there with them, and I don't know what all they're talking about. All of a sudden, they were talking about what they're going to do in the future and weird shit. Like everyone's like, "Wait, is this a date?" Oh my God. Oh shit. And then asking them, yeah, like they were going to travel and just weird shit. Yes, yes, I did. Those pictures, yes. I did see that. I know. Then Mom was like, yeah, look at her floor, and you just spit on your floor. Oh, it was, oh God, I was laughing so hard. Right. Oh, it was funny. I know, I know. Yeah, she was saying that last night too. Oh my God. I know. Holy cow. Well, who is even trying to do that? Oh my goodness. I can't. I don't understand. And everybody was saying, that Amber would be all mad or something. I don't know if she would or not, but who in the hell's going to fight over that guy? Wow. It's unbelievable to me. Absolutely. All these people give him money. Like, stop that. God. God, that was funny. Oh, last night, I swear I was in tears. My stomach hurt from laughing. I love that kind of laughter, though. I really do. I'm going to have to start behaving again because um, Friday night was completely blocked all over the world again. I don't behave myself at all. Yeah, can you imagine? Ugh. It just, yeah, just gross. Just so gross. But he's saying things like that he's gonna, the threats he's making to Charlotte and stuff. Like that's just that's not okay. He's so triggered. But seriously, what do you expect when you literally, you're living in your mom's base? I don't know. I guess it has a room now, not just the bathroom, but I know. I did. I finally got. Okay, this is what happened. Okay, so I was trying to sign up for Kick, and so what happened is I signed up, and then as soon as I tried to log in, it said that was the wrong password. Well, I know it wasn't. I just did it. It's not like I forgot it. So then, whenever I would push, um, okay, fine, then I forgot my password, obviously. Send it to me, it would say that email is not associated with an account here. So I tried to restart, just start all over. And then it said that email already exists. Like, well, what the fuck? Oh my God. So then I said, fine, I'll just sign me up through Google, right? So they kept having me delete all my cookies over and over and over again. Then, so I would do all the steps it said, fuck everything up. And then it wouldn't let me. And for whatever reason, Fig was getting, because she finally texts me and she's like, are you trying to do something? And I'm like, why? And she goes, well, it's sending me the authorization. Why? Why is it sending it? It was all so stupid. But today I just started all over again and I did it. So I don't know why, but I did get signed up. And so, oh, okay. See, that's so, I hate when that shit happens. Like, yeah, this email doesn't exist. And then so you try to redo it. Oh, this email exists. Really? But so I did do it. I did get it done today. but it's kind of hard. Really? See, so this is like, I know, I'm like, I know that it's not just me. I remember the password. By the way, hello, Maze. Oh, you did. Oh, you know what? I think I ended up finally doing it through Google. Oh, okay. Well, at least I'm like, what the P is going on? Everybody's saying, oh, I signed up for Kick. And I'm like, well, I can't. I still am having a really hard, I did manage to go and follow Molly and Charlotte, but I didn't figure out, uh, it's kind of hard to navigate. I'm not sure how to like start doing anything there. Oh, really? Oh, great. I don't know. I think I feel like, I want to do another, I mean, I want to do like Rumble or something else. I really do want to, but obviously, like there's a lot more people on, everybody goes to YouTube, everybody. So I don't know. No, I think I get that, Maze. And yeah, see, I didn't even understand how to follow, subscribe. But I haven't spent a lot of time with it. I just barely managed to do it today. And because Fig was going to help me yesterday, but we forgot to talk about it. And so I haven't really figured all that out yet. Um, you were in there last night too, right, Maze? Yeah. Oh, shit. I still want to laugh my ass off about it. And thank you. I don't know. I was catching up on all my housework last night. I'm always up really late on Sunday nights getting my housework and laundry, everything for the week done. But oh no, don't worry, mate. Yeah, just be safe. Be safe. That's all. I don't know if I told you guys, but it should be like we're looking at probably the first week of May, possibly even the end of April to start the kitchen. Yay. Hey, Becca. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, top hats. Yeah. That pre-record I did not has had less views than anything else I have. Uh, oh Lord. Sorry about that, Kimmy. No, it will drive me crazy. It will. I know it will. But I'm so excited. I can't even stand it. Oh, I should show you guys a picture of the layout we're going for. If you care, maybe you don't. But I'm so excited. Oh, really? You started one over there? Oh, okay. Okay, this is the deal. I don't even know how, now that I did it, and I went right to Molly's and you know, did whatever, followed her. And then I went to um, Charlotte's and followed her. I don't know how to find like me. I don't know how. Okay, so this is what we sent to the contractor. So let me see. So excited, I want to just spit. So currently, I don't know if you guys can see where I have. So currently, our stove is over here. And then right here is an island that comes out right here. And the dishwasher is in the island. And then there's nothing over here. So I'm like, just lay it out. Yeah, it's going to be so, because right now, if one of us is getting a cup of coffee and we're like, do you mind, not being right here? And then I'm just going to have shelves up here. Yeah, all up in here. So currently we don't even have a drawer that fits an average utensil holder. They're all lit. This is such a small kitchen. And believe it or not, when we first moved in here, right here was a wall with a pantry. And we knocked that out right away. But so excited, I can't hide it. Yeah, I think. Okay, so we need to listen to some of this stuff. I think today being the first day, it's been a little bit hard to figure out just yet. And I think we'll probably get there. Well, we will, obviously. But I don't know how much trouble I'm going to end up being in. Oh, you're going to. Yeah, I'm really sorry, Top Hats. Just get better. As long as you're not cheating on us and going somewhere else. Oh, yeah, oh God. I can't find my own self there yet. I know. Yeah, I would love that. As soon as I know how, I will for sure, Top Hats. Yes, thank you for reminding me of that too. Top Hats always on top of everything, very much so. Very appreciated. It's just Jackie Snotty, but no space in between, but capitalized J and S. I know, because Jerry said I should probably think about changing my name, and I thought about doing that there too, but I just don't know what to change it to. And I just really wanted to go check out Molly's thing. You know, most things will say like, you know, your profile or something, but I couldn't find it. I didn't spend a lot of time though. That's the truth. No, I think you might be right. I think you're right. It didn't work. See what? Oh my God. What the hell? No space, right? Did you try no space? So did I actually not do it? What the? Hmm. Yeah. Yes, Kimmy. Caps, J and S. Now, I do agree with that though, Jerry. And it's not something that you feel like you really want to look at, I don't think. Oh, good God. Well, maybe I didn't go on there. It says I'm following Molly and Charlotte. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. Well, I guess I need more help. Big's going to have to lay out some time for me here very soon. Yesterday we had such good food. Um, Counting Characters made biscuits and gravy and eggs, and um, my angel David made resurrection rolls, and four of them volunteered at the church on Saturday to feed people. Yeah, the thing is, top hats. I can't find the button that says, um, "This is you," where I can click me. You know what? I should pull it up and show you. I know, isn't that sweet? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna share this with you guys and show you how I don't know what to do. I know I am so proud of them. They are good kids. Yeah, Counting Characters. She volunteered to. She did parking, and so did Mr. Fig, and Fig did hospitality something, and my angel handed out food. I'm very proud of them. Okay, so this is my thing, I guess, right? Because it says I'm following um, Molly and Charlotte. This is as far as I've been able to get. I don't know what else to do. Where am I? So, like right here, this doesn't say anything like that. Um, okay, following. There's Charlotte. So, where am I? Oh, oh, okay. I see that now. Okay. What? Thank you. Okay. So, right here, there I am. I'm like, there has to be something here to click, and I don't see it. Okay. There it is. So, maybe. Okay. I guess. Nice. Okay. Now I see me. So, what is your name on there, Becca? Can you put your oh, it did. Okay, good. Becca, can you put your link? Simply Becca Lynn right there. Oh, I forgot how to. Oh, right here, right here. Right. Okay, now I'm following Becca. Yeah, so I could probably even take other videos from mine and put them over there, maybe, right? Or no? I don't know. I got to fool with this. Thank you so much. I can't believe I never clicked that. Like, what the heck do I do? Okay, I know you guys are going to think I'm really silly, but I thought that was Charlotte's picture. I thought that was just Charlotte. Okay, you know how I am. Oh my god. Oh, thanks. Oh wow. Hello, Chelsea. Yeah, I have not been, I've had a hell of a time with this. Oh, I have 4 followers. Yay. Look at this. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Becca, for sure. Because wow. Do you have a channel over there, Chelsea? I can. Let me see. Does it show you who's following you? I don't know. I don't know how to do anything right here. Not a thing. I barely know what to do on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Frazzle. I got 6 now. Woot woot. Woot, woot. Oh, okay. See, I just got a fool with it. Oh, good. Okay, so top hats. Okay, I can't do it from here. Top hats. I'll have to take that link. Becca, put your link in here. Oh, really? Oh. Oh, yeah. To a deluxe apartment in the sky. Yep. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, really? Oh, it never works for me though. Okay. It didn't work. I'm hearing something. Am I streaming on here right now? You guys, I'm hearing myself. Oh my God, that's hilarious. No, I get it, Chelsea Marie. I do get it. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing over here, but somehow I'm hearing, I'm not hearing myself anymore, so I don't know what the hell. I don't know. Oh, okay. So yeah, something else is happening. Oh, the what? Um, oh God, I just now see it. Okay, good. I was like, what the hell? Oh, okay. Now I get it. Now I see. I see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to really work on this. Awesome. Thank you, Top Hats. Yeah, you should do one. If you know what, you should do one, Becca, so you can get views for it. Yeah, you should. That would be awesome. Oh, thank you, Top Hat. How do I not see a big green edit? Okay, see. Good God, Jackie, some days you're so irritating. It's annoying. Yeah, I think you should do that. That would be awesome. I think a lot of people could definitely benefit from that and get you some traffic. I know I would benefit from it. Clearly, because I don't see a big neon green neon sign saying edit. Thank you, Becca. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to start with playing a video from Nate Eaton this morning. I think on the first break.
Hey, check.
We live? I believe so. All right. If we are live, I just walked out. Looks like we're live. Hey, everybody. Nate Eaton here outside the Ada County courthouse, Windy, Boise. We have just finished with opening arguments here at the courthouse. You can see people that were inside the courtroom are coming out. Opening statements, I should say. Opening statements kicked off this morning with Fremont County Prosecuting Attorney Lindsay Blake saying that this case is all about sex, money, and power. And she said that Lori Vallow Daybell would do anything in her power to get things out of the way so that she could be with Chad. She went through and talked about Tylee disappearing, Tylee gone, JJ gone, Tammy gone. She said that Lori wanted to get these things out of her way so that she could be with Chad. Lori's defense attorney then made an opening statement, Jim Archibald. He said that the jurors have to keep a fair mind and they have to be 100% sure that Lori Vallow committed the crime she's accused of. And if they are not, they cannot convict her. They cannot find her guilty. So opening arguments, the prosecution took about 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so. Lori's side took about 20 minutes. There was then a break, and Kay Woodcock, JJ's grandmother, just took the stand. She talked about the last time she saw her grandson alive. It was on a quick FaceTime call, that he was clearly being directed or coached, my words, by someone who was on the other side of the iPad or the phone. She said normally when JJ would talk to her on the phone, he'd run around and you'd see the ceiling and he'd be all over the place. But this was a far more controlled type of a call. That's the last time she spoke with JJ. She said that after Charles died, she tried to make arrangements to get JJ home to see his father's memorial service. She booked a ticket to fly to Arizona, to fly back with JJ to Louisiana so that he could be there, and then to fly JJ back home, but that Lori never responded. So Kay is still on the stand, but we're taking a lunch break. She'll be back on the stand this afternoon. The courtroom is packed. Larry is in the courtroom, if you're wondering. Larry Woodcock, along with several other extended family members. Take a pen over here, Jordan. This is Lori's defense team walking across the street. Zoom in if you can. You can see there being lots of media here covering them, following them. They're likely going over to the grocery store to have lunch and just stay on them there. Not a lot of places to eat around the Ada County Courthouse, I can tell you that. There's a Chick-fil-A up on the corner, and then there's a grocery store across the street. Why don't we show you the media contingency over here, Jordan? You can see that they have staked out here. There's media tents all over here. There's another media group on the other side of the courthouse. Lots of people here today because it was opening statements. I do want to say there were some gruesome moments this morning. We saw the remains of Tylee projected on a screen, and there wasn't much there. It looked like charred flesh, some bones, and that.
So we will we won't just play all of the 4 hours, obviously, of the live today, but he just gave a lot of information there. So then I'll just hit certain testimony and stuff. I'm just letting you know.
That was about it. We saw JJ wrapped in plastic and duct tape. And at one point, we saw Tammy Daybell's autopsy photo after she was exhumed from her grave. And at one point, Lindsay Blake ended her statements by showing JJ's arm after he had passed, and it was wrapped in tape. We saw Tammy's arm, and then they cut to a picture of Lori and Chad holding hands on the beach with those malachite wedding rings, which have been in the news. And so that is what we have out here at the Ada County Courthouse. Again, we're in a lunch break. Lori has remained serious through most of the hearings. She has vigorously taken notes. She did look eye to eye with Kay at one point, and Kay looked at her. Larry Woodcock told me that during the break, Larry made eye contact with her 8 times during the morning session. She has shown no type of any real emotion as far as tears or anything. It's been a very somber day in the courtroom. I can describe the feeling as that. There are a lot of reporters in there. We all have our laptops out. We're all doing updates. And after the morning recess, apparently some jurors complained that it was too loud, all the typing. So we're trying to type quieter. But we're going to keep you posted. If you want to read the minute-by-minute updates, go to eastidahonews.com. We've got them on there. I'm tweeting about it. Pardon the typos. I'm typing very quick. We're trying to get it all covered for you. A lunch break will end at 12:45. We'll be back inside the courtroom. Yeah, come on up. Come on up, Jordan. Let's see who we have.
The court will continue at the pace they're going. I think the case is moving right along. I'm very proud of the court system, the
This
lawyers.
is Larry Woodcock,
and,
JJ's
I think
grandfather.
it's been a fair and balanced court so far.
What's your message for those that are, supporting you and your family?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was all about where are the kids, where are the kids, where are the kids. And now it's about justice. And that's all I'm going to pray for, continue to pray for, is that the court continues in the directions that they're going, and that this proceeds as it should proceed. We want a fair and honest verdict, whichever way it goes. That's all we're asking for. Listen to the evidence and make a fair and honest verdict. Can't ask for any more than that. This is what this is all about.
What was it like to see Lori in court today?
It was stressful. It was. It's what we expected. Nothing more, nothing less. And for that, what else can you ask for? Just give us a fair and just court. That's all we're asking for.
Larry, you said you made eye contact with her 8 times before that morning recess. What was that like when she saw you? Did she keep her eyes fixed on you, or did she quickly look away?
She looked away rather quickly. And I just wanted to look in her eyes. It's just that simple. I just wanted to just look in her eyes. And at this point, I'm not even asking why. Her why would never be justification. And so for that, I saw what I wanted to see.
What did she seem like in there? What was her demeanor like to you?
Irrelevant.
Yes, I feel so bad for her too. It is. It is heartbreaking. Yeah, me too. Hey, wondering. No, there is no why. The why is, like they said for in opening statements, that this is about money, power, and sex. And really it is. For them to act like it's about religion, some real, it certainly wasn't any, the beliefs that they held had nothing to do with their actual religion. Not LDS doesn't believe this, and I'm not pretending to know what every religion believes, but this was simply their own. They were off on some weird thing, because what religion is going to say, you need to eliminate all the people in your life that stand in your way of what you want. Seriously, this is just ridiculous. Yeah, there is no why. There's no, and you just think about it. I look at my grandkids and think, oh my goodness, can you just even imagine? Oh, I would rip her damn head right off of her fucking shoulders, and there's no way I could tolerate that shit. And how sad, they just kept trying to find where they were. And she was like, they're healthy and happy. They're healthy. You know what? Where are they? You stupid bitch. Yeah, absolutely. Just the way she treated, even prior to this, to her doing this with the kids, which I'm pretty sure nobody really thought could happen. Just the way that she treated Kay's brother. No. See, anybody that does that, that's always me. I'm telling you. Even with my nephews, when their wife didn't clean the house good enough, I went over and cleaned it and was like, hey, they need to take better care of them. That's right. Absolutely, Jerry. I would. I would. Oh my God. Yep. No, I think he has. He seems to have aged. Yep. Even more so than Kay, right? It has. It absolutely has. And he's had some health problems. He said that. So Brandon is actually who went and identified JJ's body. Brandon Boudreaux, Melanie Plowski's first husband, the one that Alex tried to kill in Gilbert, my hometown. Don't fucking be pulling that shit in my hood, people. A lot of shit that they pulled, they did in my hometown, dickasses. Yesterday, I was going to go to the temple in Gilbert, but being Easter, I think that was just going to be. I don't think it was a good idea to go yesterday. It's not like we can really do too much there. Oh my God. That's still crazy to me. Oh my God, wondering. I can't believe that. That is so crazy. I'm still blown away by that. Sorry about it. Now you got blood on top of it. Good God. Okay, yes, please. Feel better, top hats. Feel better. Thanks for hanging out at all. Thank you for all your help already tonight. Get some sleep. Feel better. Yeah, that is just crazy. Ooh. Uh-oh, Jerry. Not to make you feel weird, but I mean, you got to be careful with your dad now too. Louise, relax. I know, isn't that crazy? Oh, I think so too, Chelsea Marie. I do. Well, I believe that the sister does not anymore. Summer. I don't believe she does. I don't know where everybody's at right now. Louise, you gotta relax, girlfriend. Yeah, I do too. They're a weird family. I'm sorry, but they just are. And everybody she knew kissed her ass. Everybody. You know, that's what's so disgusting. The way that Charles paid for everybody's phones, the parents, everybody's. He paid for everything for these people. I mean, good God. Right, me too, Mama's. But yeah, that's the last I heard too. That they weren't supporting her at this time, but that's been like a year or so since I've heard. Even Colby, you know, I don't believe they are. You know, how can you? But I think Summer's really weird. And so the mom and dad both are too. Right. She damn well did have a part in it, Chelsea. I'm sure of it. I'm sure she did. Honestly, I think that there would. What I'm assuming is that, and this is just my assumption, I don't know. I assume that both Melanies are testifying, which has probably kept them from having charges. But I'm pretty sure, I think Melanie Pulowski definitely should be charged, actually. I don't, probably Melanie Gibb too. I mean, you can't tell me they didn't know more. Melanie Pulowski did. I feel very sure she did. Look at that time she went to her in-laws' house all dressed in black, and they had told her she would be trespassing if she went there again. And she did it, all dressed in black with Alex. Yeah, I don't buy that shit. And you know what? You guys, Brandon Boudreaux did testify today. So we're going to hear that. Mm-hmm. I'm very anxious to hear that one. Let this go.
I think that sums it up. Just an irrelevant relevancy on her part.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, we'll be in and out, so look forward to seeing y'all.
Are you looking forward to testifying? Are you looking forward to telling your side of the story?
I don't think they want me testifying. I think that would be my surprise. Anybody do want them? That's how you do it. You don't make stuff up. You don't give excuses. Just yes, no.
Larry, I had a question for you. What kind of justice wants?
I want justice to be a unanimous justice, and I want it to be a fair justice. And I'm not here. I don't have to prove her innocent or guilty. There's 12 good people that have stood up and volunteered for this. And it's not up to me to tell them how to do their business. I would never do that. And I think I truly believe that the judge, the court system, is righteous.
Mom is the boss. So, did your parents know? So that's her second husband. That is Colby's biological father, William, right? Is that who you mean? That's interesting. 'Cause I can't find very, very little on information on that marriage.
to the to the to the truth, and I do believe that.
You know, this has been more than 3 years coming. What's it like to finally have this day in court?
It's been 4 years. Can y'all believe that? 4 years. A lot of things have changed in all of our lives. You know, maybe some of y'all weren't here. Maybe some of y'all seen it. You were in college or high school, or married, divorced. Parents have died. Things change, and the consistent thing about this is Kay and I have never one time altered, gave up, and wanted to. We just want justice for everybody involved. And if justice says that Lori's not guilty, you know, Lori's going to have to answer to somebody else. It won't be me.
How important is this day in court to you and to Kate?
Oh, it's very important. This is what the judicial system is all about. Is our day. That's all about. It's just give us our day in court. Let the truth be known. This is not complicated. You know, we're not reinventing the wheel. Just say what you know, be able to prove it, and you know, let's go on about our lives. But I believe in the system. I absolutely believe in the system.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank
Larry,
y'all.
Larry, do you plan to be here every day throughout the whole trial?
Unless the good Lord's got something else that I need to do for him, yeah, I'll be here.
Would you mind showing us your bracelets?
Oh, well,
How do you wear those every day?
I wear them. I've worn them ever since the first one we ever received, and I can't take those off because this is not just about Tylee and JJ. This is about Charles and Tammy and others, and we know who those others are. So it's, you know, it's important. It's important for me, for myself, and for Kay that we all remember everybody in this. This was simply not the death of two children and how this has affected everybody's life. I mean, it's just, you know, we just want justice. That's all. And I truly believe in the court system. I'm the biggest advocate of 12 jurors and a fair and honest judicial system. And I think we've got it. I really do. And let's just continue that this will continue this way, and that everybody is just speak the truth. That's all it's all about. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry, so much.
Let's go have a beer.
All right, everybody, we're still live. Jordan.
LDS and was in the. Wow, that's wild. Mom is a boss. That's crazy. Well, you know what I think personally is that, you know, obviously this is just my own opinion, Jerry, but I think that she was always manipulative and she always wanted, you know, she lived quite well with, you know, at least with Joseph Ryan and with Charles Vallow. But I really think this crazy shit, that this was him. I think this was Chad. Because he was doing this shit before he met her. He already had said that his wife was dark and gonna die. And Charles, said it was whenever, this is when she really went off the rails. They all said that a lot of people said she was a really good mother and a good, people really liked her. I kind of, in the beginning, I thought it was all her, but really it's right. No, she was up to some shit. Yeah, because definitely, yeah, the Joseph Ryan thing for sure. You're right. Yeah. The two of them together, I really believe, obviously, was like, gas in a match. She definitely figured out a way to get whatever she wanted her whole life, I'm pretty sure. Very manipulative person, for sure. Yeah, she definitely, yeah. And honestly, I can't stand to look at her. I really can't. Oh, are you going to bed, Legs? Sorry. But good night. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a good Easter. We didn't even hear. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's the thing. This is what I always say. It's, people can be addicted to food. They can be addicted to a lot, everything just has. Oh, how did that go, Legs? Did you get any results today? I got to be honest with you there, Jared. I am not at all happy about no cameras. In fact, I'm pissed off about it because I want to watch this really, really bad. God, sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't like to look at her either. I'd like to slap the shit out of her. but I think I deserve to be in that courtroom. Oh my God. Wow. That is crazy. My brother just did that. He got some in on some study thing and got his eyes done. Yeah, that's so insane. Jeez. Well, hopefully you can get in on that. Oh God. Sorry, legs. Wow. That is very rude. Like your time doesn't mean anything, right? Wow, that's really sucks. I'm gonna start playing this.
Thank you. The state calls Kay Woodcock.
All right, Ms. Woodcock, if you'd please come forward, and I'll have you pause out here when you get to the middle and raise your right hand. All right, if you'd please pause there for a moment, raise your right hand, and I'll have you placed under oath.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Okay, you can be seated in the witness box up here.
I'm sorry, legs. That.
All right, counsel, before you inquire, just to make clear, we are making a stenographic record of the proceedings. Please answer questions verbally with a yes or a no instead of gestures. Try not to talk at the same time as anyone asking you a question. And with that in mind, Mr. Wood, you may inquire.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the court and spell out your last name?
Ethel Kathleen Vallow Woodcock. I go by Kay. Last name is Woodcock.
Thank you. Ms. Woodcock, where do you reside?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Okay, how long have you lived there?
All my life, pretty much.
All right. Ms. Woodcock, do you have any children?
Yes,
How many do you have?
2.
Have either of those children ever had a child they were unable to care for?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you about that. Which of those children had this child they couldn't care for?
My son, Dennis Todd Trahan.
And what was the
Maybe I need to move closer to it.
I don't know if that
It's not
working.
mobile.
I'm wondering if it's working. Okay, it is picking up a signal. So
Okay.
if you could just try to, I guess, speak right into it. Hopefully
Yeah.
we can pick you
Okay.
up on audio. Thank you.
okay? What was the name of the child who had a child they couldn't care for?
Dennis Todd Trahan.
Tell me about that situation. What occurred?
He and his girlfriend, Mandy Leger, had issues, and she got pregnant. They couldn't take care of him, of Canaan, JJ. He was born, when he was born with drugs in his system.
Okay. When was this child born?
May 25th, 2012.
Okay. And what was the child's name?
Canaan Todd Trahan.
Thank you. Now, you stated he had drugs in his system. Were there any other complications?
He was born at 30 weeks. That's 10 weeks premature. He had a myriad of issues. I can't, I'm not a doctor. I can't explain all of them, but he was in neonatal ICU for 7 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay. After he left the hospital, where did he live?
He came home with myself and my husband, Larry.
Okay. And can you state Larry's name for the record?
Larry James Woodcock.
Okay. And why did he come home with you?
The state took custody of Canaan when he was born because of the drugs in his system. And we were deemed as his caregivers until they gave the Todd and Mandy a chance to work out their plan, that they help them try and become, independent. Yeah, the
Okay.
state gave them to us.
Were Todd and Mandy ever able to regain custody of Canaan?
No.
Okay. How long did you have Canaan?
We got him in early July of 2012, and Charles and Lori got him in mid-February of 2013.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there. Who is Charles?
My brother,
What is his full name?
Leland Charles Anthony Vallow.
Okay. And who is Lori?
His wife.
Okay.
Seriously, legs. Wow. Oh my God. That is too much. I would not. Seriously. Right. That's just, that's too much. Jeez.
And what was her name?
Lori.
Full name.
Well, when I knew her, it was Lori Ryan. So Lori Ryan Vallow.
Okay. Is Lori Vallow in this courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you point to where she's sitting and describe what she's wearing for the court?
She's sitting there at the defendant's table, I guess in a black jacket.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would ask the court to take notice that the defendant has been identified.
It's so noted in the record.
So let's go back. You stated that you had Canaan until around February of 2013.
Yes.
And so, and I believe you stated that Charles and Lori took Canaan at that point.
Yes.
Why did they take Canaan?
They were granted legal custody.
Okay. Did you ask them to take custody of Canaan?
No, actually, it was Charles Charles and Lori approached us, and Larry and I were going to be given the option to adopt him first before anyone, and then Charles and Lori approached us saying that they would love to adopt him if he was talked very gingerly about it because it was a very sensitive subject. And we, I was like, look, we'll think about it, but we just have to think about this. That's a big decision. And
I don't know what that's
Okay.
all about.
Why did, in the end, did Charles and Lori adopt Canaan?
yes,
And why did you allow that to happen?
they seem, well, number one, Charles wanted, I need to back this up with that other question, if I may. They wanted to have a child of their own. He had 2 kids, she had 2 kids. They wanted to have a child together. Anyway, sorry, ask your question again.
Why did you allow Charles and Lori to adopt Canaan?
They had a much different lifestyle than Larry and I did. All we did was work and work and go home. They were a busy lifestyle. They were very family oriented. Lori was active in the community. Charles was active. They were very active in the church. She just seemed to be the kind of mom that every mom wants to be.
Okay. And so did that adoption take place?
Yes.
Okay. When Canaan was adopted, did he move from Lake Charles, Louisiana?
Yes.
Where did he go?
They moved to Chandler, Arizona,
Okay.
where they were living. Yeah.
And is that in Maricopa County?
Yes.
Okay. When Canaan was adopted, did his name change?
Yes.
Do you know what his name was changed to?
Joshua Jackson Vallow.
Okay. And did Joshua go by a nickname?
JJ.
Okay. So just for clarity's sake, I'll refer to him as JJ
Agree.
from here on out.
Okay.
It has to be very hard.
Did you and Larry Woodcock maintain a relationship with JJ after he was adopted?
Yes, actually, that was a condition of the adoption, was that we had to maintain access to him and maintain our grandparent role, which they were very glad. They were good with that, Charles and Lori.
Okay. And so JJ was living in Chandler, Arizona, and you were in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yes,
How often did you see JJ?
every chance we could.
Okay. And how often was that?
We flew out there I know when they left with him in February of 13, we were out there less than a month later because we were having a very hard time detaching from him. We missed him really badly. But then anytime, it averaged about every 3 months when they were in Arizona that we were able to go visit.
Okay. After they adopted JJ, did Lori and Charles ever move from Arizona?
Yes, they moved to Hawaii,
Okay. Where in Hawaii did they move?
Princeville,
Okay. Do you know what island that's on?
Hawaii.
Okay. Once they moved to Hawaii, were you able to?
See, Charles did whatever she wanted. Moved to Hawaii, then back to Arizona. It was all about everything she wanted in the church. It just was a lot to me. She was such a manipulator, I believe. Charles loved her very much, though. They probably all did, I guess.
To maintain contact with JJ?
Yes.
Approximately how often would you maintain contact with JJ?
Since Hawaii was a much bigger flight, a much longer flight to get to. So yes, I went, averaged out every 5 to 6 months, and I would stay, or if Larry was with me, we would stay like at least a week and maybe 10 days, a week to 10 days.
Okay. Did you have any other type of contact with JJ through phones or digital contact?
Oh, when he learned to FaceTime, yes, he FaceTimed us all the time.
Okay.
And the phone too. He would call us all the time.
All right. What was your relationship like with Charles and Lori?
It was good. I mean, Charles and I were very close. He was my brother, and we always got along. We were very close. And Lori, she was just a doll. We were good friends. We talked, all the time. I mean, we didn't make a lot of phone calls between each other, but when we saw each other, it was very, it was like we had missed a day of not talking.
Okay. Did you ever spend time with other members of her family?
Yes,
Okay. Did Lori have any other children?
yes,
Do you recall who they were?
yes. Colby Ryan and Tylee Ryan.
Okay. Who was oldest?
Colby.
Okay. Did you ever meet other members of Lori's family?
Yes, there were some birthday parties and things, maybe 4th of July stuff, but yes, I did.
Who do you recall meeting?
Her parents, Barry and Janice Cox. She had a brother, Alex Cox, and her.
Did you hear what she said, Barris? Sorry, I had to say that. It's Barry and Janice. That is so something I would do. Oh my God.
Her other brother, Adam Cox.
Okay. Anybody else in the family you recall meeting?
Not that I recall.
Okay. You mentioned Alex Cox. Do you know approximately how many times you met Alex Cox?
A handful of times, maybe. Sometimes he would stay with them, and so I would see him when I went to visit.
Okay. To your knowledge, is Alex Cox living or deceased?
Deceased.
Do you know approximately when that happened?
December 12th, 2019.
Okay. Did Charles and Lori ever move back from Hawaii?
Yes.
When was that?
It was around Christmas or New Year's of 2016.
Okay. And did you maintain a visit? Did you continue to visit JJ in Arizona when they moved back?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Did you ever see Tylee at the home?
We did. Excuse me. Yes, she was around there. She was being her good little sister self to JJ. she would often go to her grandparents while we were there. I don't know why that was, but and as she got older, she was busy with her friends and stuff. But absolutely, we spent time together.
Okay. What did you observe in the relationship between Lori and JJ?
I witnessed she was a doting mom. She was very engaged. She was one. I know one time when we went, he was probably a year old. She had a photo album, and she had pictures in it, and she had pictures of me and Larry and other people, and she was reinforcing that we were his grandparents. She would point to him and say, "That's Mama," and point to the next picture, "That's Pawpaw." And she was a good mom for everything I could see.
Okay. What did you observe in the relationship between Charles and JJ?
Charles was hands on. He was engaged. He took a lot of. When Charles was traveling for business, Lori had him all to herself. But when Charles got home from his businesses, he had JJ all the time.
Okay. I'm going to talk to you about the year 2019. Do you recall the first time you saw JJ in 2019?
It was right around the 1st of February
Okay. Where was that?
in in Chandler or in the Phoenix area, one of the Maricopa County.
Okay. So is Chandler in the Phoenix, the general Phoenix area?
It's a suburb, yes.
Okay. Do you recall how long you stayed there?
That time was about probably 2 weeks.
Okay. Was there a specific reason you had come out to visit that time?
Yes, Charles reached out that he and Lori had split up, that she was gone, and he was totally very distraught. So I went, excuse me, I went to help him with JJ.
I'm going to object here. This is hearsay evidence that's coming in.
Your Honor, I haven't heard any hearsay yet.
Hadn't heard that yet either. Do we have water for the witness?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you needed any. I
I
couldn't
do.
see if you had any down there, but feel free to take that and have that ready.
Overruled.
Objections overruled.
Ah,
So, Ms. Woodcock, you had stated that you were in the process of saying that you were out there because Lori was gone.
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware of where Lori was?
No.
To your knowledge, was Charles aware of where Lori was?
No.
Okay. Did you see Lori at all while you were there?
No.
Okay. You stated you were there for a couple of weeks. Did you take JJ with you after that at all?
Yes, I brought him home to Louisiana with me. Charles needed to go to work, so, and we were ready to have him in Louisiana.
Okay. Approximately how long did you have him in Louisiana?
Probably a week, maybe two. We during that time frame, from like February 1st till the end of March, we were back and forth to Louisiana to Phoenix, to Louisiana to Phoenix with JJ. Just busy trying to help Charles get things squared away.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I might have missed it. Did you mention a time frame in which you were going back and forth between Louisiana?
Yes, between February 1st of 2019 and through the end of March of 2019.
Okay.
he was his wife.
Did you stop going to Arizona?
Yes,
Why was that?
because we moved Charles to Houston.
We're listening
Charles and
to
JJ.
Okay. And when Charles and JJ moved to Houston, was Lori with them?
No.
Okay. Why did Charles move to
Trial.
Houston, to your knowledge?
So we could help him. He didn't have any family in Arizona, It was all just her family. Um, JJ needed good schools, which they had in Houston. We didn't really have any in Lake Charles. And Lake Charles is 2.5 hours from Houston. We would be able to.
So can you imagine? So she took off this time, just took off. Nobody knew where she was. And at this point, her Charles was still paying for everybody in her family's cell phone, a lot of their vehicles. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, I did hear from Faith. I think she's been sick, but she just kind of she hasn't been feeling well. So, but I did hear from her. So she is okay. But I heard from her yesterday.
Whenever Charles would go out of town, took a work, he was gone maybe 3 days when he would go to work. And that way I could be in Houston with JJ while Charles was gone, and he wouldn't be with a stranger, and I could get him back and forth to school and just take care of him while Charles would be working.
Okay. Approximately how far is it between Houston and Lake Charles, Louisiana?
150 miles.
Okay, so that's a drive that you can do.
Yeah, just straight down I-10.
Okay. And did you ever have occasion to go to Houston and stay with JJ while Charles was gone?
Yes.
Okay. How many times did you do that?
There was once Charles moved there like March 31st of 2019. And he did need to get some work. He needed to go to work. So I went to Houston and stayed with JJ for probably 3 days. I think it was that time. And Charles went and did his work. JJ and we had a good time.
Okay. I'm just going to briefly ask you a few questions about Charles's business. What did he do?
He was a financial planner. He mostly sold annuities.
Okay. At any time, did you become involved in helping Charles with his business?
Yes.
When was that?
In February of 2019.
So in the same time period we've been discussing.
Yes.
Why did you start helping Charles with his business?
He asked me to help him out because he couldn't he was very distraught with Lori, for one thing, for their separation, and he just needed help. I helped him with his payroll, his accounts payable, receivable. My husband Larry and I owned a business, so I was very familiar with the workings of a business or being self-employed, and so I did what I could to help him.
Okay. And so through this help, did you have access to Charles's banking information?
Yes.
Did you have access to his emails?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have access to other financial information?
Yes.
Okay. Did anything happen in April that changed the situation and arrangement you had with Charles?
Yes.
What was that?
Lori went to Houston, moved to Houston with Charles and JJ.
Okay. Can you state that again to be clear for the record?
Oh, Charles and Lori moved to Houston with Charles and JJ.
Okay. And you said that was sometime in April of 2019.
Yes.
Okay. After that, did you continue to see JJ in the Houston or Lake Charles area at all?
Oh, yes. Often.
Okay. How often?
Every weekend he would come, or every other weekend, just whenever he could get away, he would bring JJ, and they would come for the weekend, which we were more than happy to have them.
Okay. Did Lori stay in Houston? Are you aware if Lori stayed in Houston?
As in, like,
Did she stay? I apologize. Did she continue to live in Houston?
as far as I knew, she was go to Phoenix and I don't know where else, but I don't know exactly what her travels were at the time. But I know Charles would come sometimes and say, well, Lori's gone this weekend, or, you know, she went to do this weekend. I don't remember the specifics.
Okay. Did she move from Houston?
Yes, in June of 19, Charles secured her a home in Chandler, which
Oh.
a suburb of Phoenix.
Okay. And when Lori moved back to the Phoenix area, where was Charles staying at that time?
He wasn't staying there. He still had a home in Houston, but when he would get a hotel.
Okay. At that time, to your knowledge, are you aware if Charles was intending to divorce Lori?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if he was ever able to finalize that divorce?
No.
Okay. To your knowledge, is Charles Vallow alive or deceased?
He's dead.
Do you know the date he died?
July 11th, 2019.
Okay. To your knowledge, did Charles Vallow have a life insurance policy?
Yes.
Did you ever have an occasion to speak with him about that policy?
Yes.
When was that?
In February of 2019, he approached me and said he wanted to name me the beneficiary. It was $1 million policy, and he wanted to name me beneficiary and take Lori off.
Okay. Did you ask him to name you as the beneficiary?
No.
Okay.
Kimmy, are you still here?
During that conversation, did you commit to doing anything with that life insurance policy money if you were the beneficiary?
Kimmy's got a new man in her
Yes.
life, so she's
What did you commit to do with that money?
To finish
preoccupied.
raising JJ because Lori didn't want him anymore.
And did you commit to doing anything else with that money?
Yes, he had asked me to give half of it to his 2 adult sons, which I did.
Okay. Did you ever have another conversation with Charles about that life insurance policy?
Um, I can't remember at this moment. It might come to me in a minute. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But is it fair to say you don't remember having another conversation with him?
I don't remember right at this moment.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I do
Yeah,
know
it would
that.
be hearsay if she did have a conversation with him.
The existence of a conversation isn't hearsay.
All right, Mr. Wood, why don't you ask another question? There's a pending objection, but I don't know that this would be responsive to that, so if you'd re-ask.
Oh, that's really not okay, Kimmy. Yikes. I don't even know what to say about all that. Yeah. Wow. I'm glad to hear Ben's doing well. I'm very glad. I'm sorry you're feeling so bad. Rizzo, I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh, we've got another question that'll be
Okay.
posed before you can answer. Sorry.
After Charles's death, did you receive the benefit of that life insurance policy?
Yes, it was unexpected because I never knew. I never followed up with Charles to see if he had changed me to his beneficiary. But yes, I did. Probably within a week of his death.
Okay. And how did you find out about that?
The insurance company called me.
Okay. Did Lori Vallow ever contact you about the life insurance policy?
Yes.
Do you know what number she texted you from? Or let me rephrase that. How did she contact you?
Through a text.
And do you recall what number she texted you from?
No.
Uh, did you have her saved as a contact in your phone?
Yes, she had actually had two numbers in my phone.
Okay. And do you know what those two numbers are?
Yes. Can I have a
Well,
paper with it on there?
do you remember those numbers off of the top of your head?
No.
In anticipation of today, did you make a record of what those numbers were if you couldn't remember it?
Yes.
Would it refresh your memory to look at those numbers?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask, well, what kind of document did you prepare to see those numbers?
I just did a screen print and I have it on and made a copy.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask that the witness be allowed to look at those documents to refresh her memory.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you can go ahead and just indicate on the record what it is specifically you've looked at, and then after you've looked at that, put it away or turn it off if it's a device, and then we'll.
It's I have it right here.
Okay,
I can
some
copy.
printed papers, it
Yeah.
appears. If you'll just look at those, and then once you've refreshed your recollection, set those aside, and then Mr. Wood will ask another question.
Do you want?
Have you had a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall the numbers you had stored in your phone for Lori?
Yes.
What was the first one?
480-489-4652,
And what was the second?
480-692-9562.
Thank you. Mrs. Woodcock, do you recall the last time you saw J.J. Vallow in person?
Yes.
Where was that?
Lake Charles.
Do you recall when it was?
The weekend of May 17th. And I remember it vividly because we gave him a birthday party because his birthday was May 25th.
Okay.
I don't even know what to say about that. Kimmy, yikes.
And did you, so you saw him at his birthday party?
Yes, and they spent
Where
the
was
weekend-
that?
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where was that?
At Mr. Gaddy's, a pizza place in town.
Okay. And then did he spend that, was it a weekend?
Yes, they spent the weekend with us, and we gave them the party on the Saturday, and then the Sunday afternoon they left to go back to Houston.
And
Lake
that was,
Charles.
just to be clear, that was the last time you saw him in person.
Yes.
Okay. After the last time you saw him in person, did you ever have contact with him again?
I think we may have had a phone call or two when he was with Charles. Yes, but
Okay.
that was about it.
All right. After Charles passed away on July 11th, did you ever have contact with him again?
Yes.
Tell me, well, do you remember how many times you had contact with JJ?
3 times.
Do you recall the first time you did?
Yes.
How did you have contact with him?
It was a FaceTime.
Okay. Do you recall when that was?
It was probably, let's see, June 11th. So probably around June 20th. I'm sorry, July 20th. Probably about a week or so after Charles's death.
Okay. Was there anything about that contact that stood out to you?
Yes.
What was that?
He normally had an iPad or a phone, and he would walk around and talk to Larry and me. And it was always so funny because he wouldn't hold the device to him. He would walk around and we'd see the ceiling in most of the places that they lived. But anyway, it was always funny. But yes, he would hold the iPad or the device and he would talk until he was ready to hang up.
And so that's how you normally communicated with him over
Yes.
FaceTime. On the on this specific incident that I asked you about, was there anything different about your communication with him?
Yes, he did not have the device in his hand. Somebody was holding it for him. And
Oh, what a
he
sweetheart,
normally,
Kimmy. Oh,
like I said, he normally always had it, but it was a very short call. And he would look up, and whoever it was obviously taller than him. But he was having a bad, taller than him. I'll just,
And you said it was a short call. Do you
yes,
recall approximately how long it lasted?
probably maybe 30 to 45 seconds.
Okay. Um, did you have any other contact with him by FaceTime after that?
Yes,
Do you recall the next time you did?
yes.
When approximately was that?
It was in the evening time, and again, he was not holding the device. He was this time he was in a really foul mood, and
oh, Kimmy,
he
what
just
is
really didn't want to talk.
that's sad.
And I remember he just didn't want to talk. He was having a little meltdown. So I remember being very upset that Lori waited till that time of the evening, or he was very tired. He was overly tired probably, and he didn't want to talk.
Okay.
So I was very upset about that.
About approximately how long did that conversation last?
It was under a minute, 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute.
Okay. Did you have any other contact with JJ Vallow?
The last FaceTime, the last contact that we ever had with them was on August the 10th of 19. And that was a 35-second FaceTime. And he, again, was not holding the iPad or the device. He just said, "Hi, Mama. Hi, Papa." And then he looked up as if someone, whoever was holding the device, and he goes, "Gotta go, Mama. Gotta go." How do you say it? "Gotta go, Mama. Gotta go, Papa. Bye." And
Okay.
that was it.
So that was the end of the
That was
conversation.
it. Yes.
So it was a short conversation.
Yes.
And that was the last time you ever had contact with JJ Vallow
Yes.
on August 10th, 2019.
Yes.
Okay. Did you attempt to have contact with JJ after that?
Yes.
Okay. How would you attempt to have contact with JJ?
I, myself and Larry would, it was call, email, text, voicemail, any way we could, but I never got any response from her.
Okay. I'm going to take you back in time a little bit. Did you attempt to arrange with Lori for JJ to attend Charles's memorial service?
Yes.
Where was Charles's memorial service held?
In Lake Charles.
Okay. How did you communicate about that with Lori?
I don't remember if it was a phone call or a text. I don't know, but she had agreed that JJ could attend the memorial service.
Okay. And did you have a plan for picking him up and the logistics of that?
Yes, I bought plane tickets for me to go to Phoenix and pick him up, get him from her, and to fly back to Lake Charles and attend his memorial service, his dad's memorial service. And we were going to have him for a week. And then I was going to fly back to Phoenix with him and give him to Lori, and then fly home.
Okay. Did JJ end up attending his father's memorial service?
No, he wasn't allowed to.
Okay. And did you speak with Lori about that or communicate with Lori about that?
She wouldn't answer anytime I tried to reach out, she wouldn't answer me.
Okay.
What a bitch. Good
Was
God.
Lori at Charles's memorial?
Just literally no concern about, don't give a shit about anybody but herself. She makes me sick.
Service?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask the bailiff to show to the defense and hand the witness a self-authenticating document.
All right, is there a courtesy copy for the court?
I don't have a courtesy copy for the court, Your Honor. We
All
can
right,
make
well,
one.
go ahead.
It's in an evidence bag.
Okay. Is it on the exhibit list?
Yes.
And just let people buy plane tickets and shit and just, no big deal, right? God. I'm sorry to hear that, Rizzo's wife. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry.
I'd like to review that as well.
Yeah, Kimmy, that's rough. Very sorry about that.
And Your Honor, this may be a good time for me to lodge an objection outside the presence of the jury. I don't know if the court wants to do a sidebar first or what.
All right, if that's the case, Mr. Thomas, I'll suggest we'll take our lunch recess at this time and ask the jurors to be excused before we do that, and then I can take up the objection you're going to lodge once they've been excused to the jury room for the lunch break. So let's go ahead and do that now then. So if all would rise for the jury.
All right.
I assume audio picks right back up.
Just or whatever from Laura, yeah.
Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Thomas, you've got an objection. You can indicate that at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I have voir dire native an objection?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Woodcock, a little earlier in the testimony, you were looking at some papers that you indicated refreshed your recollection about some text messages. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, where I got responses or whatever from Laura, yes.
Okay. And where did you get those papers?
I had her numbers in my phone.
Where did you get the papers that you had?
Oh, I printed them.
You printed them yourself?
No, I brought them. I sent them. I emailed them to somebody, Laura, somebody on the
Mhm.
prosecution team, and they printed them for me.
Let's see. So you've had contact with the prosecution team?
Yes,
Okay. And how many times have you had contact with the prosecution team? When was the first time you talked to them?
in probably January 2020.
Okay. And how many times since January of 2020 have you had contact with the prosecution team?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I don't know what this has to do with that document.
Your Honor, under Criminal Rule 16B6, the state is required to give me a summation whenever they speak to a witness, the things that are said within that meeting. And if she's had meetings with the prosecution that we are not privy to and that we have not been given access to or summations of, we've objected to those in the past. The state has provided some on other witnesses, but I don't believe we've gotten any on Ms. Woodcock. It's a violation of Rule 16 discovery.
Has there been a specific written request made by the defense?
No, because we didn't know they were having continued contact. Under 16B6, they're required to do that.
Well, the rule starts off on written request of the defendant. That's why I'm asking if there's a written
Oh,
request.
absolutely, yes. There's a written request.
And that's just going to witness lists. The state's included this witness. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was messed up. That, wow.
All right, I've reviewed the rule. What's the state's response, Mr. Wood?
Thank you, Your Honor. The rule does not require we provide a summation of every conversation we have with a witness. The rule requires that we disclose if they make any statements to the prosecutor or to law enforcement. Any statements of this witness have been provided in reports and law enforcement reports. They've never made a statement to us other than what's included in those reports. And so the objection is unfounded.
All right, Mr. Thomas, I'll allow you additional rebuttal if you'd like on the argument.
No, Your Honor, I think the Rule 16b6 is clear that they were required to turn over any statements that the witness makes with the prosecution or any of their agents.
All right, I've reviewed the rule, Mr. Thomas. I'm going to overrule the objection, and that'll be the ruling on that. In accordance with the rule, I think the state's indicated the rationale there, and you're allowed to ask if somebody's talked to the prosecutor before they've testified. That's generally part of cross-examination, but in terms of a requirement for some document that you think runs afoul of that rule, I don't see that here at this time, so the objection is overruled. With that in mind, then, why don't we have our lunch recess and then we can continue with the questioning of this witness once we return back. So we'll do our best. We want this to be as quick as possible, but understanding the logistics here as well. So before 1 o'clock, if we can get restarted, that'd be great. I'll check with the parties. I would like to shoot for. Okay, we're going to go back on the record now. This is KCR 22-21-1624, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen
He
Vallow.
said how much
stated.
contact, and then the state said, well, anytime they've given a statement, we've turned it over. That's different, in my opinion.
At the lunch break, there's been a witness that's been placed under oath. We'll have continued testimony there before we bring the jurors in and recall the witness. I will state, for a security concern for those in attendance, when we do have breaks, I'm advised that we're not going to permit you to leave personal effects, bags, etc., sitting on the benches when you exit the courtroom at any time. Yeah, Ms. Woodcock, if you come forward, we'll continue with your testimony.
I did that perfect.
An exhibit that was held by the clerk at this time. It's been offered but not yet admitted, and I believe that was marked as State's Exhibit 1. Mr. Wood, if you'd like to continue your direct examination of this witness, you may.
Could we quickly approach and have a real quick sidebar, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, I bragged too soon. I don't know what the fuck's going on now.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Wood, you can inquire.
Thank you. Your Honor, I'd previously had handed up to the court State's Exhibit 1, which is a self-authenticating document.
Yes, the clerk has the exhibit one. No, thank you.
Mrs. Woodcock, do you recognize that document?
Yes.
What is it?
A Louisiana birth certificate for Kanan Todd Trahan.
Okay, and what is the birth date on that document?
May 25th, 2012.
Okay, and where is the birthplace?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
And who were the listed parents?
Dennis Todd Trahan and Mandy Nicole Leger.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd ask that that be published for the jury.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right, the exhibit may be published to the jury.
That's weird. Is there a dispute there? I'm not getting it, but I'm not an attorney, obviously. Definitely not that hooker's attorney. Rizzo.
All right, and before it's being published, just to clarify, it's been offered. I don't think it's yet been admitted. We probably ought to cross that bridge before it's published.
We have no objection to the admission, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and let me make sure the record picked that up. There was a note from defense counsel. There's no objection to the admission. So that's admitted as what I believe is marked as State's Exhibit 1. Is that correct? Okay, Exhibit 1's been admitted.
Right. This is really slow, low.
Now, I'm not sure why the it isn't working. We had it going a minute ago.
It's like everybody's whispering in there. Talking really slow and really low. I don't know what the fuck's going on, quite honestly.
Mrs. Woodcock, is that to your knowledge, is that the birth certificate that was
Oh, for God's sake.
received when Kanan was first born?
Yes.
Thank you.
So weird to hear him called Canaan after, you just.
Your Honor, the state would ask to hand the defendant State's Exhibit 2. It's another self-authenticating document. While it is the document itself, the state did prepare a courtesy copy for court and counsel.
All right, the witness can be handed the exhibit and I'll review the courtesy copy.
Okay, I'm done with this.
Yes, there's nothing on the screen.
Incorrect?
Yes.
Who is the adopted child on that?
Kanan Todd Trahan.
And who are the adopted
Which is
parents?
bullshit, Rizzo's wife.
Charles Vallow. I can't find his name right at this moment. Charles Vallow and Lori Vallow.
Okay. And do you know when that document was signed?
July 25th, 2014.
Thank you. Does the bailiff want to committed evidence?
All right, I'm starting to lose my mind here. I really am.
Your Honor, the state has another self-authenticating document to hand to the witness. This has been marked as State's Exhibit 3.
Is that the original? Can I take a look at the original?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Woodcock, do you recognize that document?
Yes, a Louisiana birth certificate.
Oh.
A Louisiana birth certificate.
Okay. Your Honor, where that's a self-authenticating document, I'd ask that it be admitted into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit 3's been admitted.
May I publish it to the jury?
You may.
No, it is frazzled. I know this is hard. Honestly, it's really hard for me right now.
Mrs. Woodcock. You stated that was a birth certificate?
Oh,
Yes.
shut the.
Your Honor, with the lighting on that Elmo,
Okay. No, come on, stop it right now. I
Mrs.
know.
Woodcock, do you recognize that document?
I do.
What does it purport to be?
Our beautiful grandson, JJ.
Is that did you take that picture?
I did.
Is that a true and accurate representation of JJ Vallow?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask that State's Exhibit 4 be entered in evidence.
Any objection?
May I vote here in aid of an objection?
You may.
Ms. Woodcock, you indicated that you were the one who took this photograph.
Yes.
Do you know when you took it?
Probably. He was probably 5 or 6 then, maybe 7. He was probably, hang on, let me look. I can't remember exactly when. We took a lot of pictures of him.
Where was it taken?
And my husband's pickup truck.
And I mean, I guess like what city?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
She's biological grandma and legally the
And who
aunt.
else was there when this photo was taken?
Well, it looks like the angle I took it from was the front passenger seat, so Larry was probably with us.
Okay. You don't have any specific recollection of the day you took this?
No, but this has always been one of my favorite pictures
Okay.
of him.
Your Honor, I have no objection to the admission of State's Exhibit 4.
All
Why
right,
the
Exhibit
fuck was
4
that?
is admitted.
Wow. Just so we could hear his raspy fucking weird voice.
Your Honor, may I publish it for the jury?
You may.
This is weird the way that the defense gets to jump in and ask questions in the middle of this.
Mrs. Woodcock, who is that again? Who is that a picture of?
JJ.
Oh, shut up.
Okay. Is this the JJ that we have been speaking about this morning?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
No.
Mr. Wood, just to clarify our exhibits here, I'm holding a courtesy copy, but it's got what looks like the State's Exhibit sticker original. I want to make sure I don't have the original exhibit, not a copy.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. No, I just meant because remember that whole hassle about the
my copy, and
legal,
I'll ask the bailiff to bring me the other
who
copy.
she legally was. I just was being sarcastic, Kimmy.
Thank you.
No, I know.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Woodcock, you, before we broke for lunch, you had testified about Charles Vallow dying and trying to make contact with JJ, correct?
Yes.
At any time, after the death of Charles Vallow, did you become concerned about the whereabouts of JJ?
Yes.
Why?
Because Lori didn't want him anymore.
Were there any other reasons you were concerned about his whereabouts?
I didn't know. I was having trouble reaching Lori and her keeping in touch, letting us keep in touch with him.
Okay. Did you ever reach out to law enforcement about your concerns about JJ?
Yes.
When did you do that?
My brother died on July 11th, and we found out about it July the 12th. And we were in Lake Charles, and he was deceased in Arizona in a Chandler. And we found out Friday afternoon. That was on the 12th. And then we talked to a detective then. And Larry and I flew out the next day to Phoenix so we could meet with the detective. And he met with us the next day, that Sunday afternoon. And our first question to the detective was, we are so worried about JJ. And also, did he see what happened to his dad?
So you spoke with law enforcement very soon after your brother's death.
Yes.
After you first spoke with law enforcement, you did have occasion to FaceTime with JJ, as you testified earlier, correct?
Yes.
After your last FaceTime with JJ on August 10th, did you ever speak with law enforcement again about JJ's well-being or his whereabouts?
Yes. Numerous times.
Okay.
Your Honor, at this point, I'm going to renew my objection pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 16b6. She's indicating that she met with law enforcement on numerous occasions. I've not received, I've received some, but I don't think I've received all of those communications.
Response.
Your Honor, the defense has received multiple reports, and I think that those would indicate all of the witnesses' statements about her concerns about JJ.
All right. I've considered the record that I've got on the issue and looking at the rule cited 16b6. I'll overrule the objection.
Mrs. Woodcock, did you take any steps yourself to try and locate JJ?
Yes.
What did you do?
We hired a private investigator in October because we had not heard from JJ since August 10th. We heard that Lori had left the state with JJ, and we had no idea where she was.
Okay.
Or he was.
Okay. I want to speak with you about November in 2019. Was JJ Vallow ever physically with you in November of 2019?
No.
You had testified earlier that you were helping your brother Charles with his business, correct?
Yes.
And you had access to multiple of his financial records?
Yes.
And other accounts?
Yes.
Okay. Did anything happen in November that alerted you to Lori Vallow's whereabouts?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall what date that happened?
November 8th.
Where were you?
At home, Lake Charles.
In Lake Charles. Okay. How did you become aware of Lori Vallow's whereabouts?
I had a printer that was Charles's. When we cleaned out his house in Houston, one of his sons and my family went to pack it up to vacate the house, and nobody wanted the printer, so I said, okay, I'll take it home, and it sat on my table for a couple of months, and on November the 7th, I decided it was time to hook it up to my computer, and I was having trouble with the scanner, so I was quite aggravated with it. So I went to bed and left it alone to look at it with a fresh eye in the morning. And I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I just had to go. Something was telling me to go work on that scanner. And when I got to my computer, I noticed that if you have Gmail, when you log on, there's a whatever icon you want it to be in the top right of your screen. And I saw Charles's icon, for his Gmail on my computer screen. So I don't know how it was there, but it was there. And so I clicked on it and it brought me to his Gmail to sign in. And
Did you,
I'm
were you
sorry.
able to sign into that Gmail account?
Yes.
Did you have access to Charles's passwords?
Yes. He had 3 favorite passwords, and the first one I used worked.
And had he provided you those passwords?
Yes.
Okay. When you opened up that Gmail account, what did you see?
There was a bunch of emails, but one that stuck out specifically was an Amazon, like a delivery status delivery of like an ordered status email.
Okay. Where was that delivery to?
It was to 575 Pioneer Road, apartment 175 in Rexburg, Idaho.
Do you recall the date of that delivery?
It was probably a couple of days before November 8th. I don't remember specifically.
Okay. But it was after July 11th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that delivery, was that associated with a specific company?
It was with Amazon.
Okay. What did you do after you saw that notification?
I called Brandon Boudreaux was first, and then law enforcement. And I do believe I talked to our private investigator as well. I talked to numerous people that day regarding it because I was shocked at what I found.
Okay. Did you look further into that Amazon account?
Yes, I got into the browsing history in the Amazon account, and I saw that there was browsing for a beach wedding dress, a bathing suit, men's large size, I think it was large, white linen top and pants, and malachite wedding rings. And there were a couple other little odd and end things, I believe, maybe flip flops or something.
Was there a date associated with that browsing history that you saw?
Yes.
What date was that?
October 2nd,
Of what year?
2019.
Was there a reason that caught your attention?
Yes, because I had learned before that Tammy Daybell had passed away on October the 19th. And this was her looking at wedding rings and wedding stuff on October.
I'm going to stop you there.
Sorry.
When you said she was looking at wedding rings, who did you believe was looking at wedding rings?
Lori.
Okay.
This is so slow.
And was there anything else about that
Yikes.
that browsing history that caused you concern or caught your attention?
Not thinking of anything else.
Okay.
No.
Did you become aware at any time
They
that the
didn't speak
Rexburg
enough
police
to
were looking for
prosecution
JJ?
because
Yes.
shit balls.
Did you ever meet with the Rexburg police?
I met with them in January of 2020.
Okay. Did you ever go to Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
Prior to
Oh my God, me too, Frazzle.
this situation, had you ever heard of Rexburg, Idaho?
Never.
Did you put out a reward in aid of the search for JJ?
Yes. At the advice of a FBI.
Okay. Did you ever do
I'm going to
interview?
object to relevance on that last question. I'm going to ask that it be stricken for the record.
Well,
Oh, for
the
God's
answer
sake.
came before an objection was lodged, so it's not timely, so it's overruled.
Wow.
Did you ever do interviews with news outlets to publicize the search for JJ?
Objection relevancy.
It's the relevance, Mr. Wood.
Just to lay the foundation of what Mrs. Woodcock was doing, looking for a missing child.
Seriously, I feel like this is
The objection's overruled. You can answer.
When we went in January of 2020, the media had learned
You know,
of
there's
the
important
story
stuff
of
right
the
now.
kids missing, and we reached out. Every media outlet was all over this, and we talked to every outlet we could. We appeared on talk shows. We did everything we could to raise awareness for the kids missing.
Okay. Around this time, did you ever become aware if Lori Vallow had remarried?
I did. Yes.
Do you know who she had married?
Yes.
Who was that?
Chad Daybell.
So you testified you went to Rexburg in January of 2020.
Yes.
Did you ever see JJ there?
No.
Were you ever informed that JJ and Tylee were found?
Yes.
When was that?
June 9th, 2020.
Do you know where they were located?
Yes.
Where were they located?
In Chad Daybell's backyard, buried in shallow graves.
Okay. Your Honor, the state has no further questions at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wood. Let's make sure we've got all the exhibits that were admitted to the court clerk, and then Mr. Thomas, you can conduct your cross-examination.
How you doing today?
Good.
So when JJ was born, this was your son, right? That he was born to?
Yes.
Okay. And your son couldn't take care of JJ due to personal issues, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then he came into your custody,
Yes.
and you were kind of like I guess not kind of like, you were a foster parent, right?
Caregiver.
Caregiver,
Yes.
sort of like a foster parent, or I don't know how it works in Louisiana.
Temporary placement.
Okay. And generally, what my understanding is, and what we do here in Idaho, is we try to reunite with the parents. Is that what was going on with JJ?
Yes.
Okay. And you kept him, I believe you said, from July until about February. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And sometime between July and February, there was a conversation between you and your brother Charles, right?
Yes.
About the adoption, or the possible adoption of JJ.
Yes.
And Charles is your older brother?
Yes.
He's about 5 years older than you?
Yes.
Welcome, Sammy Lou. You're welcome.
And
This is
tell me again why it is that you didn't want to adopt
very important.
JJ.
We really wanted to adopt JJ, and we could have provided him a good home. But when speaking with Charles and Lori, they just had their atmosphere was a lot more conducive to a baby. He had issues. Kanan, I call him Kanan when we had him, and JJ after. So if I use either,
Sure.
that's the difference. So with Kanan, in Lake Charles, there were no special schools for children with disabilities, and that we knew that was going to be a concern at some point. Lori and Charles just seemed to have the right they had the right. Let me see. Okay, let me back up. although Charles was 5 years older than me,
Mhm.
Charles could run circles around a 25-year-old. Okay. And because Lori was, I believe, 17 years younger than him. So the age in that aspect didn't matter. And my husband, Larry, at that time was 65. And, and we knew how much, you know, raising children, because he has 4 and I had 2. And we knew that it was going to be a lot. And his brother, Larry's brother, was raising an autistic grandchild, and that it just the atmosphere that we had to offer in ways of, you know, stimulating a kid, bringing them to the park, or or going out with their friends, or him having friends over, just things like that. Lori and Charles seemed to have a better place. They were a better placement for him.
Right. Okay. And what you wanted was the best thing for Kanan or JJ, right?
That's what we thought. Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned that Larry had a brother who was raising an autistic child. Or Kanan or JJ, they were also autistic, correct?
I don't think he was diagnosed at that time, but he did have disabilities.
Okay. But you learned later that JJ was diagnosed with autism.
Yes.
You talked a little bit on the with the prosecuting attorney, about you working with Charles when he had a split with Lori, right?
Yes.
And that happened. He filed for divorce in February of 2019. You remember that?
Yes.
And that's when you flew out to Chandler.
Yeah, it was before he filed, I believe, but it was right at that time.
Okay, all right. But he ended up pulling that back or quashing that suit, right?
Yes.
So they were going to get back together.
Yeah, I've heard
Charles
that
was
too,
hoping, but
Sammy.
Lori was nowhere around.
Okay, and that was in February.
Yes, he just couldn't go through with it at that time.
And at that time, Charles had taken JJ with him to Houston, right?
At the end of March, yes.
The end of March.
Okay, yes.
Is that right?
Yes, but Lori did pop back up like March 28th. We were in the middle of packing him to move, and she came walking in the house like she hadn't been gone, and she was yelling at Charles to, you know, why did you take JJ, and what are you doing, and why are you moving, and just it was ridiculous. It was anyway. Yes,
And you recorded that conversation?
I did.
Yeah. And that was a private conversation between Lori and her husband at the time?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was in the next room. Her friend Melanie Gibb was
Right.
in the next room, and we could all hear it.
You were in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Right? And they were in another room?
They were right there in the dining room.
Okay. And so
Yeah, I just got to try to figure
Charles
it
ended
out.
up moving to Houston, right?
I got pretty far
Yes.
tonight, actually.
And you said that Lake Charles wasn't a good place for the schools that JJ would need to be in, and so that it was decided that he was going to live in Houston because that was a better place for him.
Correct.
And you said that since Charles had to work a lot, you were going to go to Houston to watch JJ while Charles was off on business trips and whatnot.
Yes, or we would get him and bring him
for
home
God's
too.
sake, she already
Just
said this.
whatever worked best for us.
Okay. And how far was it from Houston to, or
150
not Houston,
miles.
Katy, Texas, right? That's where they lived.
Yeah, 150 miles.
Yeah.
150 miles.
Yeah.
If Google says that it took about 6 hours, to drive it, would that make any sense to you?
No,
No. How long did it take to drive it?
an hour, 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And that's to go from Lake.
I can't. Oh my God. Right. Yeah, that's what Top Outs is saying. OBS, did he say? Wow. You guys, that's going to suck. Because I want to hear every word of this trial. Holy fuck. Shit. Whew. That was a lot. So you guys notice how weird, okay, like I assume there's cross-examination, but yet the defense was jumping in and asking questions at the same time. Okay, yeah, that's what Top Hats was showing me, how to connect the two. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to and start doing it. No, it's not. But you know what? Okay, I'm noticing, because, we did notice a lot of really odd things compared to most trials we've watched during their Murdoch case. Well, I've been listening every day to the Gannon Stout case in Colorado. So what happens there is they do direct, and then they do cross, and then right after that, the judge asks the jury if they have any questions. I've never heard of that before either. It's different shit in different states, I guess. Anyway, nobody here has a voice that is really doing a damn thing for me at all. Like, wow. Yeah, I have 2 monitors, and I have a thing to have another monitor if I want to. I mean, I have an arm for it. Yeah, it's fucking weird. I really bad want to listen to Brandon Boudreaux's testimony. Do you guys want to? The thing is, and not to be rude, because I feel really horrible for Kay, but she's just as monotone and, you know what I'm saying? It's an hour. But we can speed up through the stuff, right? If you guys don't mind, I would gladly speed up through nonsense. I just don't want to be rude and act like, oh. No, I know, Jerry. I'm sorry. I know. Okay. This shit will put you to sleep here. Well, this is like warm milk. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Do you, Mr. Snotty? Oh, shit. Okay, I gotta figure that out. Oh my God, I should have done that already. Holy hell. How do I not know how? Because I don't. But I got to, let's see. Oh, settings. Oh, I see it. Oh my God.
That's it.
Yes, I am so sorry, you guys. What the F? You guys seriously click the gear. Okay, I'm putting it at 2. Okay. Oh my God, you guys, I am so sorry that you have to learn everything with me like I'm a damn imbecile over here. Shit ass. I wish I would have done that an hour ago. God. Brutal.
Next witness.
Your Honor, Brandon Boudreaux.
And who will be conducting direct examination?
I will, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. All right, thank you, Mr. Boudreaux. If you'll come around this way and be seated in the seat to my left.
Is it too much?
All right, just a few quick instructions. We're making a record of the case, so please make verbal responses to any questions. Say yes or no instead of shaking your head, for example. Please try to avoid talking at the same time anyone is questioning you. And with that in mind, Ms. Smith, you can inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Can you introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the grand jury, please?
Yeah, my name's Brandon Boudreaux. I'm from Mesa, Arizona.
Okay. Sir, could you spell your last name, please?
Boudreaux.
Mr. Boudreaux, are you married?
I am.
How many times have you been married?
Twice.
Okay. Let's.
Sure, sorry.
Okay. And I think it'll help if you just lean just a little forward. It might be a little uncomfortable, but lots of people need to hear. Okay. All right. And you said you'd been married twice. Let's talk about your first marriage. Who were you married to?
Melanie Cope at the time. She became Boudreaux.
Okay. And with your marriage to Melanie Boudreaux, did you have any children?
I did.
How many?
4.
Okay. And what are their ages?
I have Braxton, who is 13, Brighton, who's 9, Blake, who's 7, and Breeze, who just turned 6.
How long were you married to Melanie?
A little over 10 years.
What year did you marry?
2008.
Okay. And during that time, did you meet her family?
I did, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us who you remember or who you had relations with?
I mean, she has a big family, so her mom passed away when she was young, so I met her birth mom's family, her dad's family, and then her stepmom's family.
When you say her birth mom's family, what are their names?
The Coxes.
Okay. If you could just scooch just a little closer. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry.
I know, it's all right. And so the Coxes, what are their names, please?
Barry and Janice Cox are her, that'd be her grandparents, and then Adam Cox, Summer Shiflett, Lori Vallow, and Alex Cox.
Okay. And those 4 people are who to Melanie and therefore were to you?
They would be her aunts and uncles.
Okay. Therefore your aunts and uncles in-laws?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you spend much time with Lori's aunts and uncles? I mean, Melanie's aunts and uncles?
Yes. We, before we got married, I met them in Arizona. And we would spend, most holidays together. We would, when I first, right after I was married, I moved down to Arizona. I actually lived with Lori for a while and her husband, Charles.
Okay. So when you say Lori, do you see the person you recognize and knew through marriage as Lori Vallow here in the courtroom today?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Can you please point her out and describe an item of her clothing?
She's sitting over on my right with glasses on.
Okay. Your Honor, may the, what table, just so that the records are all clear?
The second table.
Okay. How many people are at it?
There's 3.
Okay. Your Honor, may the record reflect these. Identify the defendant, please.
Yes, that's reflected now on the record.
Thank you. Now, you said you'd spent time in Ms. Vallow's home with Charles, correct?
Yes.
All right. And at that time, was he her husband?
Yes.
All right. How well did you get to know them?
Very well. We just spent a lot of time together.
Okay. When you say we, what does that mean?
Me and my family,
Okay.
my wife at the time, and my children.
Okay. And did you get to know her children, Ms. Vallow's children?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What were their names?
There's Colby, Tylee, and JJ.
When you say you got to know them, did your kids also interact with their cousins?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did. We They spent a lot of time together. My oldest Braxton was pretty close with JJ. I think JJ looked up to him a lot, and they spent a lot of time together.
So would they spend any time in each other's homes?
Yeah. JJ wasn't he wasn't super interactive as he had autism, so he wasn't always like incredibly interactive, but he seemed to love hanging out with my kids, and specifically Braxton and Brighton. As he got older, he started to be able to interact a little more, and he would always he kind of had two fascinations. One was with traveling. He always said everybody always got him suitcases. He had suitcases everywhere. And the other was coming and hanging out with Braxton. He'd always ask for that, and they had a great time when they spent time together.
And what about Tylee?
I spent a lot of time with Tylee as well. I watched her grow up. I met her when she was just little, and then got to watch her kind of grow into a teenager.
Did you have any special sort of religious connection to Tylee?
Yeah. In our church, when you turn 8, you can get baptized if you choose. And so when she turned 8, she decided to get baptized. And for whatever reason, Charles wasn't comfortable doing the baptism. And so they had asked me, and I of course said yes. I would be honored to baptize her.
And you say in your church, what church is that? What's your faith?
I go to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Okay. And was Tylee baptized into that church?
She was, yes.
Okay. Were you and your wife members of the Church of Latter-day Saints?
Yeah, we were.
Okay. And to your knowledge, what about Mr. and Mrs. Vallow?
Yes, as well.
Okay. Did you, what about the relationship sort of that you observed between Melanie Boudreau and Lori Vallow? What was that like?
Yeah. Melanie, she kind of had like an affinity towards Lori. She always kind of, she looked at her kind of less like an aunt figure and almost more like a mom figure. She was always wanting to be like her.
Did you get along with Charles?
Yeah, really well. Charles and I both had a passion for sales and business, and connected well in that. And we just both loved our families, and so it was very easy for us to spend time together.
So it wasn't uncommon that the Boudreaux and the Vallows would get together and get along.
Yeah, we would. There was years where they lived by us, and we would usually see each other maybe once a month or more. And then there was times when they lived further away, but we would travel to each other's homes, stay in each other's homes when we went, and it wasn't uncommon to spend a week, or more at each other's homes.
Did you spend holidays together?
Yes.
Okay. What was the last Christmas that the Boudreaux and the Vallows spent together?
That would have been in 2018.
Okay. Was that a typical Christmas?
I've got everything up
for the two couples.
As loud as I can get it.
No, it was definitely different at that point.
Why?
When you get really close with people, kind of become comfortable and you let your guard down, and your body language is more relaxed and more comfortable, and it just everything kind of.
I don't know any other way.
You can see each other and pick right up where you left off. But everybody feels like they know everything about each other, almost like it's just you're so each other so well that it's like memory, if you will. But and that one, it was very well. There was Melanie Gibb who was there, who I'd never met before, never heard anything about, and.
So let me stop you there and let me ask. So you said it wasn't the same as before. Were there other people there for this holiday?
Yeah, Melanie Gibb was there with her family, but I didn't really know her, and the rest of us were all. It just didn't feel. We didn't feel close. The body language was very, in the way that the conversations flowed, everything just felt very distant.
Now, around this time, were you and your wife active in your church or in your ward?
Yeah.
Okay. And had you been active with the Vallows in your faith?
Could you maybe extend on that?
Sure. Had you and the Vallows shared that faith and shared activities at church?
Yeah, we definitely had done things at church together.
Okay. And did your wife's or let's take it one at a time. Did your wife's activity in religious events increase around this time, around that Christmas?
Yeah, a little bit before actually, but.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So when we first got married, my wife's kind of religious level was kind of low. She didn't enjoy going to church. It wasn't something that she. It was more me pushing going to church. I felt like I got like a little bit of benefit from it, and she didn't really enjoy it that much. And so for most of our marriage, it was kind of me pushing going to church. But kind of in the fall of that year.
When we're talking 2018.
Yeah, sorry. In the fall of 2018, she started getting really passionate about going to church and about different ideas within the church. She started going to these things she was calling firesides.
When you say calling firesides, are firesides within the LDS faith? Are those a common practice?
So in the LDS faith, the way our setup is organized is a congregation is called a ward, and there's usually some leaders inside the ward, and then there's a bigger congregation called a stake. And inside of that, usually ecclesiastical leaders organize the regular Sunday events, but you also occasionally will have like they call them firesides, but like a special event that focuses on something around our belief. And in this case,
so were the events that your wife attending called firesides sort of part of the organized part of your church?
No, and that's I guess what started kind of sticking out to me was she would go to these things that she was calling firesides, but they weren't put on by the church. They didn't have any ecclesiastical connection. Like there wasn't anything like that, but they were using that term. And she was coming home with kind of different ideas of what she was going to do to be a faithful member of the church.
Okay. Was the defendant at some of these firesides?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't get it to go any higher. I've clicked on every single volume thing. I agree. I can't hear it very well either. Not him, actually. He is the one. This is Melanie Pulowski's ex-husband, who Alex tried to kill in Gilbert. He shot at him and missed. So this is Melanie Pulowski is Lori's niece, her older sister that had died at 31. It's her daughter.
Did Charles go to any of these fireside talks?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And were you invited?
No, I had a discussion with Melanie, and she told me that these were her thing, and she didn't want me to go, and it was very clear that I wasn't welcome to come.
To your memory, who was attending some of these, extra church activities?
Besides Melanie and Lori.
Besides Melanie and Lori.
Yeah, I'm going to object. It sounds like he doesn't have information as to who was there. Any information that he would have got would have been hearsay.
Also saying that I think there's an adequate foundation.
Were you aware of who attended some of these events?
Not in the present, but afterwards, yes.
Okay. Did any of the people who later went to those told you they had attended those?
Yeah, I had a conversation with Melanie later where she told me she went to those.
Okay.
Again, it's hearsay.
It's like fucking everybody is whispering.
But you weren't allowed to go to these talks.
Correct.
All right. And when you say some of the ideas your wife came back with, did they center around particular topics?
Yeah, the things that were she felt a need to go to the temple every single day, which is a little bit extreme. And like in our faith, we believe in going to the temple, and I think regular attendance can be good. It's something where you go and kind of practice ritualistically like your faith and show God that you are trying to keep promises to him. And so it's a good thing to do, but
is it unusual to go every single day?
Very, and it got even more extreme. Like she would have to go during like our family trips to Disneyland or things like that just were very, very overwhelming. She had to focus on this idea that like the world could end soon, and we had a disagreement about buying $10,000 worth of food storage right away. Things that just seemed extreme.
And so in this situation, you've been to Christmas and your wife is participating in these extra religious events. Did that affect the situation between sort of the Boudreaux and the Vallows going into 2019?
Yeah, I guess it got a little bit harder for us.
Why?
Excuse me.
Do you need some water?
Yeah, actually.
Do you mind if Your Honor, if it takes a second?
Not at all. It's there for the witness.
Thanks.
Can you ask me that question again?
In going into 2019, the situation between the Boudreaux and the Vallows, was it affected by this religious activity or the sort of atmosphere at Christmas?
Yeah, it just kind of got more bizarre. Into 2019, in January, we got a call and text messages from Lori and Charles that Lori was accusing him of cheating and infidelity.
Okay. How did you respond to that situation?
Well, it was kind of complicated.
Why?
For me, well, because initially when all this started happening, I wasn't really I wasn't even aware of it the night that it happened. And when I became aware of it, it just seemed odd. There was it seemed kind of like it just went from 0 to 100 really quick. Like Lori had removed all the money from their account. She had.
So let me stop you there and break it up. So did that affect the situation with your family?
Yeah, it did. My wife was very adamant that we were going to take sides.
And did you respect Melanie's wishes on that?
Yeah, I did my best. Yes.
Okay. And did there come a time during this period that you would see Lori in the late winter, early spring of 2019?
I didn't see Lori very much at all, but I did see Charles.
Okay. So how often would you see Charles?
He would bring JJ over to play a couple times. He had JJ. Lori wasn't with JJ at the time. I don't know where she went actually.
So Charles would come over to your house with JJ?
Yeah,
and so what would JJ do at the house?
He would play with Braxton and just kind of get a release. JJ was always very high energy. He had to like lock everything up when he came so he couldn't get out of the house or get himself into trouble. So it'd be kind of thorough. It was like having a really big kid that doesn't know how to make certain decisions yet. And so it was a lot of work when he'd come over, but you just loved him, so you did it. But so Braxton kind of always knew that his duty was to play with JJ and entertain him and keep him kind of busy so that he would get into less trouble or get into less things.
Got it. And so did you spend time with Charles when JJ was there?
I did, yeah.
Let's fast forward to that summer. Did you have occasion to go to a family trip or visit your wife's family in Utah?
Yeah, I did. So I after meeting with Charles those couple times and kind of seeing him go through some painful process, I according as I promised Melanie, I kept asking him not to come over and doing my best to help him, but trying to create distance. And so we actually that summer went out and went to Utah to my wife's sister was going to get married, and we were staying at my in-laws' house.
Okay. Did anything unusual happen at your in-laws' house?
Yeah. So my this was in June, and to explain it, on June 23rd, my grandfather passed away of a heart attack, and I got a little bit. His health wasn't great, but it was still a surprise. And so on the 25th, my mom called me to tell me about the funeral, and I had this conversation with Melanie where I told her when it was, and she told me she wasn't going to go to the funeral. She didn't want anything to do with it, and it created kind of
a disagreement between you two.
Yeah, a disagreement. And in that process, this what I thought we were arguing about with like her not wanting to go to my grandpa's funeral, not wanting my kids to go, kind of escalated into something completely different. It just kind of cascaded into a bunch of stuff that didn't make any sense and had nothing to do with me or her, to do with this.
All right. And when you say to do with this, did it lead to some accusations against you?
Yeah. After I took a little break after I felt so emotional about my grandpa, I walked for a while. I came back and I really wanted to break through and have like a honest conversation with her. So I just came and apologized for my feelings and just told her that I would accept her not going to my grandpa's funeral. And I just begged her to talk to me about what's going on and why things were so hard. And she said that if I was honest, then we could work through things. And she said God had revealed some things to her. And so I just said, let's talk about it. I'm like, what is it? What's between us? And she started out by accusing me of hacking her Aunt Lori's computer.
Had you hacked her Aunt Lori's computer?
No, I don't know anything about hacking, and that was not something I did. It was really illogical, which stuck out to me and frustrated me because I didn't know I had anything to do with what we were fighting about.
How did that conversation end?
It escalated some more hours, and then I kept trying to talk through it with her. Eventually, I her father got involved, and we talked to him, and she wouldn't talk to him with me, but I talked to him, and she was saying she didn't feel safe with me at the house, and she accused me of being a homosexual, which is another thing that didn't make any sense, but Charles had been telling me previously she was going to say.
Okay.
I was going to convince her.
Okay, so she made those various accusations. How did it end?
It ended with her going to sleep and me feeling kind of overwhelmed, and finally I texted Charles and Lori that I was frustrated with them, that I felt like this was on them. And
did you ever hear back from the defendant?
Lori never answered or responded. Charles talked to me.
Did you, without getting into what somebody told you, what day was this?
June 25th and in past midnight, so into the 26th.
Okay. Did you have additional, and it's 26th of June, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have additional conversations with Charles in the following few days?
I did. I talked to him again after I kind of worked through some stuff with my dad and my ecclesiastical leader, and I went to a counseling session. I called him. Oh, sorry, with my dad, with my ecclesiastical leader, our bishop is what we call him, and then I went to a counseling session, just feeling a little overwhelmed, and then I called Charles that night and talked to him. That was the last time I talked to him, and just I felt kind of maybe like he was the only person who knew what I was going through because he told me
Awesome, Jerry.
things
That's
earlier.
great.
So sorry for not being there.
This is.
Because you kept your distance at your wife's request.
It's like everybody is whispering.
You said that's the last time you talked to him. You didn't talk to him again before he died?
No.
Okay. After Charles died, did you have contact with the defendant, Lori Vallow?
No.
Okay. After Charles died, did you have contact with JJ and Tylee?
No.
Okay. How did it progress for you in your relationship with your wife? Did you eventually reconcile, or did you divorce?
No, we ended up divorcing.
Okay. When did you divorce?
Well, we did a mediated divorce, so we started the process after I got back from my grandpa's funeral. She left. She just took our car home, so I took my kids and flew home. And when I got home, she let me know that we had to do a mediated divorce. We had to do a divorce, and so that would have been in July. I started going through the process, and so we met. I found a mediator after consulting some people and hearing that would be the lowest conflict way to divorce. I tried to follow through with that, so we went through that process, and that started. I can't say exactly which day, but probably around the 1st of July.
And then did you complete? Did you continue working on the divorce and separation through that summer and fall?
I did, yes.
Okay. And where were you living in the end of September and beginning of October of 2019?
At the end of September, I was selling my house, my home that we had bought together. I had moved Melanie to a rental property, and then as soon as I sold my house, I got a rental property as well for the time being, just to try to create some stability. I rented a property right back in where my old ward was, where I had lived before.
And so how did that situation work out? Were you able to share custody?
I mean, it was complicated. She was just so standoffish, so it was really hard for me to, like, when I was showing the house, we had agreed that I would go see my kids and that I could put them to bed each night, but she wouldn't actually let me in her home. She said she was scared of me, and so I didn't get a lot of time with my kids up until I sold my house, at which time I got my house ready really fast, my new home, so I could have my kids in there. And
did there something occur at the beginning of October of 2019 that affected that situation?
Yeah.
What?
October 2nd, someone parked in front of my house and shot at me.
Okay. What had you done that morning?
Your Honor, I'm object to relevancy. I don't know what this has to do with the case at hand.
May we approach?
Quick sidebar with counsel on this issue. All right, counsel, there's a ruling under advisement. The court's going to review some previous research and rulings I've made in the case to determine this. So this will be the time we'll use for our mid-afternoon break. We are going to go till 3:30 today, so we'll try to keep this break to around 15 to 20 minutes to allow the jurors a break as well, and then we'll come back on the record with additional questioning. So everyone please rise for the jury. All right.
I don't think these people have a microphone. You know what? I swear I feel like this judge is doing everything he can for us to not hear this trial, and it's really pissing me off.
All right, thank you. We're going back on the record, case CR 22-211624, State of Idaho versus Lori Noreen Vallow. There's been an objection raised that relates to issues that have previously been brought before the court in motions and limiting motions by the state in regards to 404B evidence. The court finds it appropriate to take up a argument and ruling on the issue at this point outside of the presence of the jurors who have been excused for a mid-afternoon break. So there was an objection raised by the defense. I'd like to hear the response from the state, and then I'll allow a rebuttal argument from the defense before making a ruling.
I'll turn on my microphone. And the court wants it out in public, our response in front of the witness.
Yes.
Okay. Happy to. Your Honor, the state believes that this is part of a common scheme and plan. The defendant, with her co-conspirators, conspired to cause the death of multiple individuals in her world. She is charged specifically with the death of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. She's charged with conspiracy on those issues. And the state's belief in the electronic evidence, the telephone evidence, the witness testimonies through those people who participated in these conversations clearly establish a conspiracy to remove individuals who were obstacles to her future life together with Chad Daybell, and to remove obstacles to their plan for this life together. The shooting of at and killing of spouses of individuals who were part of this group was part of this common scheme or plan. The financial benefit to Ms. Vallow Daybell's niece at the death of her soon-to-be ex-husband would have helped finance some of the defendant's travels, lives, and movement on in the future. There will be multiple witnesses who discuss that the defendant talked to people that Melanie Boudreau and her money would take care of them, that Melanie Boudreau and her money would help aid the group's plans for the future. And fundamentally, it is part of a common scheme or plan. It is far more probative than prejudicial. It is part and parcel. The other piece, just from logic in terms of the law enforcement involvement, the shooting at Mr. Boudreaux is what actively got law enforcement paying attention, what actively got law enforcement looking for JJ and Tylee, and it's core to the presentation of many of the law enforcement's assessments of evidence.
All right, thank you, Ms. Smith. Mr. Thomas, the response from your defense.
Just so that I understand, the state is indicating that this is part of a common scheme or plan, and getting rid of spouses is part of the common scheme or plan. Judge, it seems like this is a stretch at best. We'd ask the court not to allow this evidence in. It doesn't, without further foundation through all of these other text messages and whatnot. Mr. Boudreaux can be called after some of these things come in to testify, but at this point, I don't think it's appropriate to allow him to testify about these things without any more foundation.
Your Honor, may I just briefly, this is a chicken or an egg thing. I guarantee you if the state offered those other items, the defense would be saying it's premature because we don't know what happened. And so in reality, we have the witness here. He had a relationship, and the state is abiding by the previous rulings of the court. We brought it to your attention in camera ahead of time. You've given us a ruling in limine, and we are following that ruling.
All right. Well, I do agree it is a chicken and an egg thing, as you mentioned, when looking at this evidence. The court has to consider Rule 404B because it's premised on what may be presented in court. Generally, it's brought up outside the presence of the jury and also in advance of trial. The parties have complied with that procedurally. And so we did have a closed hearing relating to this 404B issue back in February of this year. And on February 22nd, the court issued an oral ruling that as a preliminary matter, I would allow the evidence or not prohibit the evidence under Rule 404B, and also made findings related specifically to this particular witness and what is alleged to have occurred. I've considered whether or not the order of things should require more foundation before we go into it at this point, but I don't really see a better way other than to admonish and caution the state that at this point I'll permit the 404B evidence to be admitted. However, at this stage of the proceedings, there's not really a record that goes into the common scheme or plan in the detail that you've indicated. However, there was a proffer made by the state at the previous ruling, and again a proffer today that evidence will be forthcoming. So I'll overrule the objection and allow the evidence. But I guess danger for the state there is if sufficient evidence does not come in later to support the allegations that take this outside of 404B, then we may have an issue with the jury having heard this testimony. So the court will rely on the proffers made today and previously in overruling that objection, and I'll allow this line of questioning.
This really should have already been
finding made at that February 22nd ruling that was briefed and argued by the parties before. So that'll be the court's decision on the evidentiary objection at this point. We'll now bring the jurors in, and just before I do that, I will advise and caution the witness here, who, although you've heard a lot of legal argument here, you're still required to just tell only what you know from your own personal experience in answering these questions, and could be subject to further objections if you go outside of that based on anything you heard here in legal argument. So with that in mind, that's the court's ruling at this time. We'll have the jury returned, and then you continue your examination, Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Judge.
Can you guys hear all the typing in the background? Apparently the jurors did complain about that because of all the media in there, and the twittering and this and that. There's a lot of typing. You can actually hear it in the background. Maybe the judge should have really thought about all this shit before he decided to keep us out of that room, because we're fucking allowed in there.
Mr. Boudreaux, do you?
What the hell is happening?
All right, please.
I think this is body cam.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bailiff. Please be seated. All right, Ms. Smith, you can continue your questioning. I'll remind the witness you're still under ooth.
Oh my God, no, that was just.
Mr. Boudreau, you were telling us about being shot at on October 2nd
Oh
of 2019.
my God.
Do you remember that? All right, let's back up. Where'd you been that morning?
What?
I had my kids, so when we woke up, I got them ready for school. My two older kids were in elementary school, so I dropped them off at their school. My third youngest went to a daycare preschool, and then I dropped my very youngest off at their mom's house, Melanie.
Melanie Boudreau's home?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what did you do after that?
After that, I drove to my gym where I worked out.
And this occurred down in Arizona, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then what did you do after going to the gym? Did you head home?
Yeah, so I left the gym and I drove home. As I was driving home, I lived on the second house in off of, I would make a left-hand turn onto my street, and that was the second house in.
Okay, let me ask you, how long had you lived in that home?
Yes.
Only a few days. I, like I said, I sold my house previously. And in a rush to make sure that I got my kids, that coming weekend, I had just moved everything myself, and then two of my neighbors noticed me moving. I just taken
Let me just stop you there. How long had you lived at that house?
only a few days.
Okay. And while you were at that, who knew you lived at that house?
Maybe 5 people.
Okay. And who were those 5?
My neighbors who helped me move, and Melanie, who I had to tell.
Okay. So you're heading home that morning and you turn on the street. What happens next?
As I came around the corner, I noticed there was a Jeep parked right in front of my driveway. My driveway would have been like this, and the Jeep was just parked right directly in front of it. And as I was starting to drive towards it, and I would have had to make a left-hand turn into it, I noticed a few things that stood out to me. The first was that
What were the things that you noticed?
I noticed that it was parked really closely, almost touching the van that had been parked there the previous several days. It had a Texas license plate, and the Jeep, it was a Jeep Wrangler, and Wranglers have a tire on the back of them, and there was no tire on this one. Instead, the window was kind of hanging open, but like the little tab things were like sitting on the outside of it.
Okay. So you see those things about the Jeep. What happens next?
As I drove forward, the window came up, and I saw a gun with what looked like a silencer. Heard a bang, and my driver's side window shattered. And so my natural reaction, instead of turning left into my driveway, I drove an electric car, so it was very instant. I just pushed the gas, and it just shot me forward.
Okay. What happened after your window is shot out?
I continued to drive, and when you're in a Tesla, the electric car, you let your foot off the gas, it brakes. And so I remember when I hit it, my phone flew forward. And then as I kind of came around the corner, I remember letting my foot off, and it came back, grabbed my phone, I called 911. I went around the corner, and I parked next to the public pool there for a second. And then I remember as I was talking to the 911 person, I saw the Jeep come around the corner, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I started to try to follow it. And then the person told me that was a bad idea. So I thought it, I'm not 100% sure which, but I went back over and instructed me to park in front of my house. So I parked in front of my house, and then police arrived.
Okay. Did you give the police the information on that Jeep?
I did, yes.
Okay. And did you follow up with law enforcement down in Arizona?
Yeah, after.
So thanks. And so now my next question is, did you take any steps after cooperating with law enforcement to identify that Jeep?
I did, yes.
What did you do?
Well, after it took all day to go through, like, once this happened, but after a long amount of time in the process, I had met with a detective and talked to him about just thoughts that I had about what was going on. He was just asking me, trying to get a handle on it. And as I was thinking about that, I realized that Tylee had a Jeep that Charles had bought her with a Texas plate that looked exactly like that. And I knew the VIN number because Charles had given it to me. So I gave that to the police officer, to my detective.
Okay. What color was that Jeep?
It was a grayish green color.
Okay. And did the Jeep you saw had no tire on the back?
Correct.
Okay. Did you take any steps then also to provide it? I'm sorry, you told us you gave the VIN to law enforcement. Forgive me. How did you get that VIN?
Charles had given it to me previously.
Why would he give you a VIN?
Oh, I was an insurance agent at the time, and he had given it to me to run insurance across all of their different cars.
Okay. And so you provided that to law enforcement, correct?
I did, yes.
All right. What other steps, if any, did you take to follow up on that Jeep that you believe to be Tylee's Jeep and the shooting at you?
I had called and talked to Adam Cox and Zach Cox because they had also had concerns about everything going on. And
okay, other than talking to somebody, what other steps did you take?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you look at any information on the internet
about the Jeep
or following up on the shooting at you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I did. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. After my shooting, I started to have my beliefs about who I thought did it. And I got concerned about the situation. And so I started thinking back to previous stuff that had happened. And I remembered that in these groups, there were people who I didn't know, but I remember there's a bunch of emails Charles had sent me. So I went through and reread those.
And did you see any names in the emails that you were looking at? When you say those groups, you're talking the groups of people that your wife was meeting in these firesides?
Yeah. She was meeting a bunch of people that didn't necessarily have, that were, said they were members of the church, but didn't have any like necessary connection to the church. And in that process, some of them would, write books or do things, and she would get into some of this stuff. And I remember distinctly inside of these groups, there was emails that were being sent with a group of them. And so I just went back to look at the emails Charles had sent me from there. And most of them came from a Chad Daybell. And since I didn't know who he was, I started Googling his name.
Okay. And in that process of Googling his name, what did you see?
I was just going through some of the things that were there, and I saw on an obituary for Tammy Daybell.
And after you saw that, did you take any steps to follow up on what you saw?
Yes. They made me really nervous because Charles.
So let me ask you the question though. What steps did you take?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Because of how I was feeling, my nervousness, I reported it to law enforcement and told them that in my gut something felt wrong, and I just asked them to follow up.
Now, somewhere in here, did you learn that JJ and Tyler were missing?
Yeah. As things progressed and I came to my opinion about who it was that shot at me, I started to try to be proactive and helping get information, doing whatever I could. And in that process, we found out that no one had seen from Tyler or JJ.
Your Honor, the state is going to ask the court for the admission of State's Exhibit number 5. It has some additional stickers on it that aren't relevant to this hearing, but the sticker is on the back at State's Exhibit 5, which is a self-authenticating document, which is the birth certificate for Tyler Ryan, showing a date of birth of 9/24/2002.
Why do they want to bring in all these birth certificates? This doesn't make any sense.
And Your Honor, we did not make extra copies of that because it's in an evidence envelope. I certainly can if the court wants.
I've had an opportunity to review that, so. All right, so to be clear, it is marked previously with Exhibit 4 stickers, but this is State's Trial Exhibit 5.
It's like they've needed a witness
Did you show
to establish.
witness? And just for the record, what does that document reflect?
It says Tyler Ryan.
Your Honor, I'm going to object here. I don't think he has personal knowledge of anybody can just read the document.
Well, and I understand the document. First of all, it's not been admitted yet.
Oh, I apologize.
So let's figure out where we are with that.
I apologize. I thought the court had admitted it. The state moved for the admission of State's Exhibit 5.
Oh my God.
As to the document being
admitted,
the birth certificate, we have no objection to the fact that it's a birth certificate.
Okay, so Exhibit 5 is admitted. And continue with your questioning now that it's been admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. On State's Exhibit 5, which has been admitted, what's the date of birth listed for Tyler Ryan?
9/24/2002.
Your Honor, the state also at this time would offer to the court State's Exhibit number 6. I would give an opportunity to both give it to the court and to ask the witness to look at it. Original on top, court copy underneath.
Oh my God. Who has ever heard of this?
Yes.
Okay. And you saw this pop up on your Instagram?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
To you before I did that. Okay. Do you recognize State's Exhibit number 6?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
It's a picture of Tyler from her Instagram.
Okay. And is it true and accurate picture of Tyler in her teenage years?
Yeah.
Okay. Move for the admission of State's Exhibit number 6.
Any objection?
May I volunteer an aid?
You may.
You indicate that this is a photograph of Tylee from her Instagram, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, how do you recognize that?
I'm friends with her on Instagram.
You're friends on Instagram with her?
Yes.
Okay. And
this is
you
weird.
saw this pop up on your Instagram?
Yes, I have.
Okay. You didn't take the photograph?
No, I did not.
Okay. You don't know if it's been photoshopped or, I mean, it looks like her, right?
Yes.
But you're not positive that whatever's on the photograph or in the photograph is legitimate. You weren't there when the photograph was taken.
I was not there when this photograph was taken.
Or the only objection I have is that it's not an original. We don't know who the photographer is. We don't know if it's been photoshopped. We don't know if it's been altered in any way.
All right, understood. Response?
Your Honor, that's not the foundation for the admissibility. If defense counsel's concerns, they go to the weight, not necessarily the admissibility. This witness has said he is familiar with the person who's in the picture. He's familiar with her Instagram, and he knows she's on.
Fucking piss me off.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that the picture of Tylee?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you indicated that you were aware that JJ and Tylee were missing in the fall of 2019, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever learn
Alita,
whether
this
JJ and Tylee had been found?
is a rash
Yes,
on
I
your
did.
ass.
Where were you when you learned that JJ and Tylee had been found?
Sorry.
I was in my parents' home in the garage.
Okay.
Sorry. I was in my parents' home in their garage.
All right. And when you became aware of this issue, did you travel somewhere?
I did. It was the day before my wedding. They weren't certain, so I had my wedding.
Okay.
And then the next day I came up to Rexburg.
Okay. What date was that?
Would have been June 11th.
Okay. Of what year?
Or June of 2020.
Okay. What happened once you got in Rexburg?
I drove up. I didn't know why, but I just felt like I should come up, and so I came up and I met with Larry and Kay in Woodcock. And
did law enforcement ask you to do anything?
yes, they had asked me if I could identify JJ.
And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
How did that happen?
I drove to a place where they showed me some pictures of him and asked if I could identify him, and I did.
Okay. And those were images showed you by Rexburg police officers and FBI agents, correct?
Yes.
Okay. One moment, please, Your Honor. I want to ask you a couple quick questions to make sure I didn't ask confusing questions. To be clear, what date were you shot at?
October 2nd,
Of what year?
2019.
Okay. And then over the next month or so, you did Google searches?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember when you saw evidence that Tammy Daybell had died?
I want to say that I saw it on October 21st, maybe. It might have been the 19th. I can't say exactly. It's been a few years since then.
Okay.
I should have reviewed that. I apologize.
Sorry. Thank you. I have nothing further.
All right, thank you, Ms. Smith. Mr. Thomas, will you be conducting the cross?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can do so.
Just really quickly, I want to go through. I want to follow up on what Ms. Smith had said. You said on October the 2nd, you were shot at, and then over the next few months, you did Google searches. Is that what you said?
Over the next few months, there was times I did Google searches. Yes.
What were those Google searches about?
Well, the one I think she was referring to was I searched for Chad Daybell's name to figure out who he was and try to get more information on him.
Okay. So you and your then wife, Melanie, were having some issues back in 2018, end of 2018, right? Is that right?
Can you define issues?
Well, I mean, at some point you got divorced, right?
Yeah, but in 2018, I wouldn't say that we were at a point where we were looking at divorce.
Okay. When did that happen? When did the divorce thing come up? In early 2019?
No, not until June of 2019 was the first time it was ever mentioned.
June of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you had gone off to a business trip and had come back?
No, I was not on a business trip.
Okay. What was it?
I took my family and we went to her parents' house.
In Arizona?
In Utah.
Your parents' house?
No, my ex's parents live in Utah.
Melanie's
parents live in Utah, and that's where we were staying, was in her parents' home.
Oh, I see. Okay. And at that point, she said something about she had some issues with you. One of them being that she said that she thought that you were homosexual.
Correct.
And was that based on, what was that based on? Was there any basis to that?
She told me that God had told her.
God had told her that you were homosexual.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, you can hear that typing.
It had nothing to do with video that one of your friends had posted on Facebook with you being at the Pink Pony dancing around?
Correct.
Okay. That was something different?
The only thing that happened with that was after a long argument. I asked her to give me some logical reasons because it didn't make any logical sense. And the only thing she could think of was that she had seen a video of me dancing with someone at a Pink Pony Club, which was available to anybody to see on Facebook. It was just public.
And where's the Pink Pony?
Objection, Your Honor. I understand this is cross, but it's getting pretty far afield.
All out at this time. It's proper cross.
It's in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Okay. And then in, as we indicated, October 2nd, you believe you were shot at, and you believe that the Jeep that held the gun that was shooting at you was a Jeep Wrangler?
Yes.
And you believe that to be Tylee's Jeep Wrangler?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you indicated that you had actually tried to follow that Jeep Wrangler. Is that right?
For a few seconds, yes.
Okay. And did you get the license plate?
I was not able to get the license plate.
How far away from the Jeep Wrangler were you?
At that point, I was very far away. It was, I barely saw it. It was over at the corner of the neighborhood, and I was very far in a distant corner. I just saw the Jeep had come around that angle, and it turned right around and went the other way.
So how far away was the shot that you think came from? You think it came from the Jeep Wrangler? How far away was the Jeep Wrangler from your car when the shot was made?
The car was parked probably a little further than the distance of where you're at to me.
Me to you?
Yeah, a little bit further.
30 feet, 20 feet?
Somewhere in there.
Okay. And you indicated that only probably 5 people knew where you had lived at the time?
Yes.
And you don't believe this to be a stray bullet or something other than, you're pretty positive that this came from that Jeep?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see a muzzle flash from the Jeep?
I saw what looked like, as I described before, a silencer, but I can't say that I saw the muzzle flash.
And was that in your rearview mirror?
No, straight in front of me.
Straight in front of you?
Yeah, I was looking straight at it.
Okay. So you saw a silencer, but you didn't see any type of flash when the shot was taken?
I can't say for certain that I did.
Okay. It's possible that that shot came from somewhere else?
No.
Okay. You indicated, and I think counsel for the state and I were both somewhat taken aback when you said that you knew the VIN number of the Jeep, and you indicated that you were the insurance agent on the Jeep.
I was no longer the insurance agent, but I ran it for Charles. He had given me the information.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he wanted me to price shop, so he gave me the VIN number for each of the vehicles that they had.
And when was that?
A few months earlier, maybe around April.
Okay. And he had done that in an email or a text or something like that?
Yeah, it was just in my text.
Okay. Do you have that text still?
I'm not sure if it was a text or if it was an email. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly how I got that VIN, but I know he gave it to me. He may have emailed it.
Go ahead.
I'm not certain which way he gave it to me.
Did you turn that information over to the police or to the prosecutor?
I did, yes.
That email?
No, I turned over all of the VIN number to the detective at the time.
And they didn't ask you how you got the VIN number?
It was a long time ago. I can't tell you for certain. I just told him the VIN number.
Okay. You indicate that you were rereading some emails from Charles to yourself at some point. Did you turn those emails over to the prosecutor or to the police?
I did, yes.
Okay. And what were those emails about?
The emails were from Charles to the rest of the family, and then some of them were, in his concerns about what he thought was going on in his relationship with Lori as they went through their breakup. And separately, there were other emails that were kind of his evidence that he was giving us of these groups that she was meeting with.
I'm a little bit confused because you indicate that you were rereading emails. I thought, and maybe this is me, I thought they were from Charles to you, not to his family.
I am part of his family. He sent them to all of us.
Okay. So these were group emails that you were part of the group email?
Correct.
Oh, I see. Okay. When you found out that they had found the remains of Tylee and JJ, you indicate that you had a wedding on, looks like June the 10th, and then you went up to Rexburg on June the 11th. Is that right?
Yes, I believe it was the 11th. Might have been the 12th. I didn't review my notes on that either, so I should have.
Okay. And you indicate that you met with Kay and Larry Woodcock?
I did, yes, that morning.
Did you meet with anybody else?
No, I talked to law enforcement over the phone.
Talked to law enforcement over the phone while you were in Rexburg?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't talk to law enforcement over the phone while you were still in Utah or Arizona, or where you were living at the time?
Are you talking about on that specific day?
Yeah. Or the day before,
I can't recall specifically if I met with him. I don't think I did, but I might have met with him in person besides the phone call. I did meet with him in person when I looked at the pictures.
Okay. And so then you said that law enforcement asked you if you could identify Tylee and JJ?
Just JJ.
Just JJ. And so what was that conversation like? I mean, they didn't ask somebody like Kay or Larry or somebody who was closer to JJ, or they just came to you?
I mean, I think I was as close to JJ as Kay and Larry. We were all family. They had initially asked Larry, but it's a pretty overwhelming task to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was with his health where it was, if it was something he was up for. So I said I would.
So you were there when they were having the conversation with Kay and Larry about who was going to identify JJ?
I was there after the conversation and talking to them.
Oh, okay. All right. I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Will there be any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that'll conclude the testimony of this witness then. Thank you, Mr. Boudreaux. You
Thank
can
you.
go ahead and step down from the witness box.
Your Honor, quick question. Mr. Boudreaux does not live in this. Mr. Boudreaux does not live in the state. Is he released from his subpoena?
Okay, this has been really, really brutal, and I don't know honestly how to even. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, this is going to be really hard to get through. Clearly, everybody whispers. And other than that, yeah, I don't know. And this is a very important, this is, needs to be done right. And I don't know. So far, I'm not digging it. But if this hasn't put you to sleep, then I don't even know what to say. Because I'm about to go to sleep right now, just right here in the chair. So I'm going to work tomorrow on figuring out if there's any way of, well, you know what? It worked out really a lot better once I sped up the, I know. I'm sorry, Jerry. Wow. Right? I mean, I really want to get all this, but good night. This is crazy. I don't know what I got out of any of that, really. Oh, shit balls. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to see what I can figure out tomorrow to make this. If I can get it sooner, then I can maybe try to just pluck out some things. I'm going to try to figure out something tomorrow. I can't imagine we're the only ones because this is difficult, very difficult. But sorry about all that, guys. I'm going to try to figure this out better. So, all right, everybody, good night. So happy to see you, Lita, but yeah, this was tough. And everybody's tired now. All right, guys. We'll figure this out for tomorrow. I will figure out something. And everybody have a good night. Thank you for hanging in there with me. It's a lot. I appreciate you and I love you, and just have a good night. Get some sleep. Love you. Bye.